to the local officials, when do we feel like that time frame is going to come where the chemicals aren't working anymore and the ice is going to build up on the roads?
Well, the mayor told me she was worried that people would see this as a facade, that the pre-treatment did its job.
Stream
They were
elements.
able to clear the roads today, but she's
Smelly
worried
Nelly
that tonight
1971
will be
is now live.
because of the
Streaming
temperature
just chatting.
dropping and such.
Chill
So
stream
it's
tracking
only
major
gonna be
winter
overnight
storm could bring
tomorrow
ice and
where
snow.
they're expecting to see the
Wise
issues
bot.
here on the roads in the state
Live
roads.
online under the
The
category
Department of
just
Transportation in
chatting.
Mississippi
The
has
uptime
already
begins.
urged people to only get on those interstates and overpasses if it is an emergency.
Wow, we will be tracking it all night. We'll see if that freezes up over the course of the evening. Brandy Campbell doing a phenomenal job for us. Brandy, thanks very much. This is a live look at Washington, D.C. Snowflakes are beginning to fall. The city is expecting this to be one of the biggest snowstorms in years. Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff was in Washington as the snow creeps in. Alex, when did you see the first flakes find?
You know, Mike, it's really been within the hour, and they are these very fine little flakes at this time. We know that's probably not going to last as things begin to accumulate. Not seeing a whole lot on the ground so far, but we're still seeing people traveling with this heavy. We just saw somebody walk by with his bag thing from the Union Station. So people are still trying to finish up some last-minute preparations. Today being a sunny day with this storm kind of pushed back time-wise, people were able to use this for preparations. And I think the really positive thing we are seeing in the D.C. area is people are not just looking at this as a one-day event. They are looking at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and trying to prepare for the long haul in the event that this is a prolonged ice event, as it appears to be. People understand that power outages, I mean, that will be the significant factor in the potential devastation that this storm could provide to this area. So in talking to people, they've been making sure they have stocked up on goods, their water. An interesting thing in this area that a lot of people have been talking about is
sorry about that, guys.
go to Trader Joe's. That's the big one apparently, pointing them out. But chicken, that's been flying off the shelves for some reason.
Snow is really picking up out here in Petersburg.
It's a unique place for trying to deal with this kind of weather. They've been, of course, putting that salt down, but this is not a grid system, so it's a hard city to try to plow in an effective manner. Also, the metro system, unlike other major cities, that is above ground in many parts. If you have more than 8 inches of snowfall, a lot of those lines will shut down or have significant delays, so people are looking ahead. When are they going to be able to get back to work, and what is in store for tomorrow as they prepare for this to be a long-haul event? It is an all-hands-on-deck situation. The mayor here in D.C. has requested support from the National Guard, especially their high-capacity vehicles, to help first responders get through this storm and make sure that they can respond to the calls they need as all this is coming down.
Alex, as we know, there are people from all over the country who move to Washington, D.C. Some of them are not very familiar with snow and ice, and it doesn't take much for a panic to set in our nation's capital when we have a weather event like this.
You are so right about that, and that's been something on my mind. You have so many people here, kind of young professionals from Mississippi, maybe, from Texas, Florida, working for their congressmen or senators, and I think that's part of why this is an area that does take these kind of events seriously. They want to make sure they're prepared. If they're not familiar with how to handle themselves. Luckily, a lot of these people aren't driving here, but it makes it hard to get around when you rely on the metro, and that is perhaps not operable in the days to come.
Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff, great job. Thanks very much. This is a strong system. More than 40 states are feeling the impacts from snow, ice, and dangerous cold. Britta, where are we seeing problems right now?
You know, the tough thing, especially for these locations that are down south, we just talked to Brandy Campbell in Mississippi, is that we have had a push of the initial storm, and it's followed by a lull, and now radar is starting to fill back in. And that second wallop is anticipated to be worse than what we just went through. So for a lot of folks that are down south, we're really just at the beginning. I know it feels exhausting. It feels like we've already been through so much. We're starting to see that ice build up, but this second push is going to be that critical punch that just really does us in for the ice accumulation. And although there's a ton of anticipation for the snow that's going to happen later tonight and tomorrow in the Northeast, it is the ice that will be the calling part and probably the most dramatic part of this storm. Right now, we have power outages that continue to climb across East Texas, North Louisiana, and into Mississippi. And in some of these more rural locations, of course, you have less resources.
Yeah, guys, there's over 815 y'all in the chat.
And you don't have a lot of help that is
please
close
consider
by.
hitting that like button.
So that's why there's been
Also
so much
subscribe to the
communication.
channel
I
if you haven't already. I'm
gosh,
a
Ken Green,
here in
the
Virginia.
director of National Weather
Local
Service,
here
we
in
talked to him
Virginia.
just a couple days ago, stressing how he wanted folks to be prepared to be without resources and on their own for a whole week. And it's because of the
I will be
ice.
also
And
live
there's the
tomorrow.
stretch. You know, 1,400 miles of ice reports that go from the Rio Grande Valley all the way to the southeast and push up into the Tennessee Valley. So to have this many reports out of the first wave, I mean, it makes you realize that the second wave is going to be a compounding effect, especially because it is happening when folks are sleeping. You know, my people are going to wake up tomorrow morning and they're going to say, wow, that escalated quickly.
And we're waiting for the first flakes here in New York City.
Yeah, and that's going to take some time. I mean, when you look at radar, you see a lot of action between Oklahoma into the Ohio Valley. You know, we just talked to Alexandria. She's in Washington, D.C. And those little, small, tiny snowflakes, it's because the atmosphere is so cold. It takes a lot of time to moisten up the atmosphere.
Thank you, everybody, for getting us to 1,000 likes in the broadcast.
Until we get to that point for the Northeast, a lot of our focus is going to be across the Tennessee Valley, moving down into the deep south. Middle Tennessee is really starting to see the ice accumulate. The Predators had their game today. So it's tough. I mean, Dallas had to do something.
I hope you're feeling good. I hope you're feeling better.
These big events that are going on. Of course, we want to be out.
My son in Charlottesville, Virginia says the snow is good.
Good to know. And that ground truth, that's what's helping us. These observations are so critical, especially when it comes to winter precipitation in Charlotte. I know the camera just went out, but our eyes will be there. We do have a reporter coming out of Charlotte because when you're dealing with an ice situation and it's such a complicated temperature profile vertically, you really need to know what it looks like, that ground truth down the ground. Am I seeing sleet? Am I seeing ice? Am I seeing rain? So, you know, with the wide stretch of how big our team is, that's how you're able to
David wants to give us a roof
We've got you covered all
access.
night. More than 140,000 people nationwide are without power right now as the winter storm pushes east through the southeast. More than 50 crashes reported in the city of Dallas on Saturday. Thankfully, none of those crashes were deadly.
David wants to give us a
Dallas
roof
public schools already closed for Monday. The latest headlines from Fox Weather: the ice storm is not done yet in the great state of Texas. The Department of Transportation posting on X saying crews will be out treating roadways in the Lone Star State all throughout the night. Ice has been reported across 11 states in the past 12 hours, from Texas to Virginia. And in Connecticut, commercial vehicles like trucks, RVs, tractor trailers, tankers, and cars with trailers are not allowed to travel on limited access highways in the state starting at noon today. Fox Weather is here every step of the way throughout the storm. We are live 24/7 on air and online. Go to our website, foxweather.com, to get the latest news updates in real time. This storm is just getting started. Major East Coast cities are staring down the prospect of their biggest snowstorm. Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Who's in the snow zone?
And before we head to break, travel issues mounting across our country at this hour. As we go into a new day tomorrow, I think a lot of Americans just will not be traveling, whether you're trying to get on the roads or trying to head to the airport. Mike and I are with you throughout the overnight, live on air through 6 a.m., and then we'll pass the baton to the next group. That's right, Fox Weather is holding your hand through the entirety of this storm with our continuous coverage. Stay with us here on Fox Weather. We'll be right back.
Very heavy snow.
Whether because of discomfort.
We're trying to get up there,
There are
guys.
thousands of pictures on your
Yeah.
phone, but some just
Trying to get up there, guys.
special place in them. Get your memories off your phone and onto a blanket, into a photo book, or onto a wall. Use code PICK3 to get free shipping on top of site-wide deals at Shutterfly.com.
At the end of the day, with so much going on, transitioning out of that can be difficult. To me, the wind down is making sure that I have a little bit of stillness. Ideally, it's just calm.
These are the lofts, bro.
Sleep that makes
Yeah,
you
we need
feel your best. That's
two-part
A-Sleep, a
access,
mattress
right?
cover that keeps your temperature just right.
Oh,
Cooling you
yeah.
down, warming you up, so your body can truly rest. you share your bed, no more compromises. 2 climates, 1 good night. As your body shifts, 8 Sleep automatically adapts, fine-tuning your temperature for deeper, uninterrupted rest. Wake up feeling calm, clear, and ready. With 8 Sleep.
That's what I was thinking.
Angie?
That's what Angie came to.
With Angie, find top-rated pros in your area, plus compare quotes and pricing to help you get all your jobs done well. Find top-rated pros in your area at Angie.com.
NetCredit is here to say yes to a personal loan or line of credit, even when other lenders won't. Apply online in minutes and get funds deposited the next business day or sooner.
I don't do elevators.
Go to netcredit.com.
I mean by like.
NetCredit. Credit to the people.
She's been there for you too. And now you're running
Sound alerts.
together.
Type commands for different commands.
Find a caregiver who does too.
Yeah, there's
When
signal
it's
here.
not you, it's care.com. Who done it?
We're looking for a house closer to everything, but we don't know where to start.
Find it with realtor.com. With Real Commute, it's easy to find a home closer to what's ever close to your heart. Y'all recycle. Realtor.com.
For years, I struggled with thinning hair, and my husband had dry, itchy skin. Then we found out the real problem was our shower water. Tests showed chlorine, heavy metals, and the rust from old pipes. Stuff that you can't see, but your skin and hair feel every day. That's why we switched to the Ice&Snow shower head. It removes harsh contaminants and boosts water pressure up to 2.5 times. In a recent survey, 92% of users reported better skin and hair within weeks. So join more than 300,000 families and make the switch to Ice&Snow today.
Where you go when you journey should feel extraordinary. Bowl and brand signature sheets. Soft with every wash. Let extraordinary take over. Only at Bowl.
A massive winter storm is trekking across the country, bringing ice, snow, and freezing rain to more than 245 million Americans. That's a live look at Nashville, Tennessee, where I know a big concern is icing there. Welcome back to our special coverage on Fox News, Fox Weather, and Fox Business. I'm Mike Emanuel. As the storm bears down on more than 40 states, we're seeing a number of snow and ice reports coming to the newsroom. Fox Weather meteorologist Britta Merwin is in weather command with those reports.
Yeah, and it's really starting to stack up, especially the ice accumulations. When we start to creep ice, more than a half an inch, you're talking about trees coming down and power lines struggling to deal with the weight. And unfortunately, that's where we're pushing the element. In fact, we've already had observations of almost an inch of ice in northern portions of Louisiana. We still have to get through a really long night and a really long day tomorrow. So here's sort of the top billboard. If you're wondering where we sit, the status report at this hour, top snow totals coming out of New Mexico, 13 inches of snow. They're kind of positioned on the original site of this storm as that low is coming out of Baja. Top sleet total, 5 inches of sleet. So if you're not too familiar with sleet and how it accumulates, think about a really nasty slushie. We usually like to eat slushies, but 5 inches of that on the ground, more than what you bargained for. Top total accumulation for ice. Right now, it's out of Louisiana. Northern portions of Louisiana has been very hard hit by this first wave of freezing rain. They're pushing 3/4 of an inch, and power outages, that number continues to climb. We're over 160,000 customers. It's very important to remember, and this is going to be critically important as we move forward, that when we talk about power outages, we're talking about number in terms of customers. So if you have 5 people in your house, you becomes 1. This is a lot of Americans that have now lost power, and it is brutally cold outside, and it will remain cold. We have temperatures across Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi that will be below freezing all the way through Tuesday afternoon. So to have these numbers, definitely concerning at this hour. Here's a look at the stretch of the storm. We still have action back out by the southwest. Thunderstorms that are popping up across parts of Arizona and New Mexico. That snow shield extends from Texas all the way up through the Midwest, pushing through the Mid-Atlantic. We do have reports, thanks to Mike's daily numbers, that the snow is sticking down on the ground in Virginia, and then down to the south, thunderstorms are rocking and rolling. That's an element that we'll get to. Severe weather, unfortunately, a part of this, and that's going to become a a bigger part of this as we go into tomorrow. Let's focus on the freezing rain and the sleet. This is where we are accreting ice. And again, every facet of a winter storm is important. The snow is important. The severe weather is important. But ice, I call that the great equalizer because it doesn't matter. You have a Ford 150, great for you. You're not going to be driving in the ice. You grew up in northern Michigan, awesome for you. You're also not going to be driving in the ice. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the skill set. Ice is going to throw you into a very unsafe situation. And across Dallas, we have that working. We also have a little bit of lightning showing up. So we think about thunder snow. You can get thunder sleet as well. Let's move on to what's happening across Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, even into South Jersey. This is where the atmosphere is trying to moisten up. It has been brutally cold all day long across the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. If you were out with your kids, you probably felt that burn in the back of your throat. It only lasts about 5 minutes before somebody's crying. Then they're sad that they cry because their tears are freezing. It's that cold. And when it is that cold, the air is incredibly dry. And so when the snow starts falling way up ahead, which right now we're capturing on radar, because that radar shoots up into the sky, it actually starts to moisten up the atmosphere. And slowly and surely, that whole vertical column will moisten up, and those snowflakes will actually get down to the ground. So that's the process that we're watching across the mid-Atlantic. We're starting to see those light snowflakes develop across Washington, D.C. Eventually, we'll start to really crank the snow machine. Moving down into parts of Virginia, south of D.C., we have multiple snow reports coming in. White Plains is up to 1/10 of an inch. So once we start to see that process happen, Mike, we see the moistening of the atmosphere, we can start stacking up the snow quickly. So, we're sitting a little bit past midnight. By the time we're at 3 a.m., we're going to see probably 2 inches of snow in some of these spots across the mid-Atlantic.
An active weather night ahead of us, Britt. I'm glad you're on duty. All right, a multi-vehicle crash in the icy conditions on Interstate 55 in southeastern Missouri. This pileup is near Marston, Missouri, not far from the Kentucky state line. Traffic was in a complete standstill on Saturday afternoon. Around 4:15 Central Time as blowing and drifting snow reduced visibility. The newest information from Fox Weather at this hour. Fort Worth police announcing they've responded to more than 150 weather-related calls from midnight to 8 p.m. on Saturday, including almost 60 crashes. Thunder sleet was reported in Texas and Oklahoma just minutes ago, and the Texas Department of Transportation posted on X, saying crews will be out clearing roadways in the Lone Star State all throughout the night.
It's about an inch in some places, but
11 states in the past 12 hours from Texas to Virginia.
The snow is fluffy, so it's not going to stick with everything very well.
Out with you, and you can get the latest headlines as they come into our newsroom. Go to our website, foxweather.com.
With snow like this is super fluffy, it's going to stick differently.
This storm is making its way into the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. It's going to be one of the biggest snowstorms in years for millions of folks that live up and down the 95 corridor. We have winter storm warnings that stretch across the Northeast from D.C. through Philadelphia into New York City and all the way up towards Boston.
Branch or whatever,
There's been a lot of folks, I would say, over the last 5 to 10 years, depending on where you live, that have been saying, where's the snow? It used to snow all the time. Well, we're going to get exactly what we asked for. We are in for some big-time accumulations. Looking at the winter storm warnings, they stretch all the way up to northern Maine. We do have a winter storm watch. That's just a timing aspect for northern Maine. Eventually, that will flip over to a winter storm warning. So the entire region is blanketed in a winter storm warning. Guys, it's been a long time since we've seen that. I mean, the pure scale of this, the actual physical size of the storm is truly massive. Sometimes you hear catchy words thrown across TV. You see them on social media. All of these words actually very accurately describe the situation that we find ourselves in. So let's talk about the snow. Obviously, the warning is out. We're prepared for the snow to move in. Your preparation should be done. We have snow being reported in Pittsburgh, not yet in Philadelphia. We're seeing it in D.C. By the way, we have live reports with a reporter in D.C., so stay with us if you want to see what it looks like outside your window. And Columbus, we have snow as well. Look at the temperatures. 5 degrees in Albany, -8 in Burlington. That's the actual air temperature right now. It's not -8. So when we have such cold air in place, this is really the precursor and the key to getting big snow in the Northeast. And this is one of the reasons why we have not seen a blockbuster storm in the Northeast with exceptional lake effect snow. Because we haven't had that precursor of Arctic air timing just right for a storm to march right into it. And now it's time to pay the piper. It's all starting to line up. Now, we are going to see some ice, and a big deal is going to be what's happening in New York City and Philadelphia. I say that because about 24 hours ago, it looked like it was going to be all snow for those two big metropolitan areas. But the kicker here is that we have the Atlantic Ocean. Water temps right now are in the 40s. All of that moisture is going to be slung into this Arctic air, and that warm air from the Atlantic will ride over that dense, cold Arctic air, and that's going to throw in a little bit of an ice combo. Once you go north of New York City, we're not going to see that big influence. It is going to be all snow. So the snow accumulations in Massachusetts, moving into New York State, the Catskills, you throw a little bit of elevation, that's where we're going to pump out probably 2 feet of snow as the maximum amount. As we take a look at the timing here, all the snow is starting to move in. By the time we wake up tomorrow morning, the Northeast is dealing with the snow, and we'll have to look out for that ice starting to push into Washington, D.C. Mike?
Britta, it's not just ice and snow we are worried about, it's also the bitter cold. Cold weather alerts stretch from the plains to the Northeast.
200 million people, by the way, dealing with the cold. So there's a look at the warnings. Again, extreme cold warning, that's kind of that upper echelon, the most extreme warning that we can get from the National Weather Service office. And look at the stretch. I mean, it's pretty much the entire Lone Star State, all of Oklahoma, all of Arkansas, all of Louisiana, all of Mississippi. I mean, it's insane how many people are really locked up in very extreme temperatures, and that cold air, it sticks around all the way through the middle part of next week. I mean, a lot of Texans, they won't wake up
I understand that,
to temperatures above freezing until we get to Wednesday morning.
Sherry?
So if the power goes out, you're going to have to keep you and your family safe and warm in this type of a situation. If you're watching us and you're lucky enough to have power, keep your phone charged. And if you are watching us on the Fox Business Network, on Fox News Channel, folks, we have a free app. Download it, because you can watch our coverage even when the power goes out. That's the power of having a streaming weather service as your best friend here. So utilize it. We're here to keep you safe. There's a look at the temperatures. That's the current wind chill. So, Mike, that's another part of this. It's not just the cold air. It's also the fact that it's windy.
We know they've had power grid problems in the great state of Texas, so that's something we'll be tracking throughout the storm.
Yeah, I think a lot of Texans, they rightfully so get very uncomfortable because thinking about 2021.
Sound
I lived
alerts.
through 2021, so trust me, I get it.
Type. Commands for different commands.
ERCOT saying that they can deal with the demand, so hopefully we can keep power on.
All right, Central Texas is no stranger to power outages, treacherous travel, and days of bitter cold. They are once again in crosshairs. Joining us now is the Travis County, Texas Judge and Director of Emergency Management, Andy Brown, overseeing the response as conditions worsen. Andy, what's the situation right now there in Travis County?
Well, it's cold, it's sleeting. Thankfully, people seem to be staying off the roads, which we've been asking them to do all day. And thankfully, we've been preparing people for this all week. So we've had meetings with the city, with the state, with TDEM,
I make money in my sleep.
making sure that we have assets in place and really getting that message out that, man, this is Texas. We're not used to the cold. When the roads freeze, we don't know how to drive on them. People need to stay off those roads. It seems like that message is working pretty well tonight.
It's 27 here.
27 degrees
Welcome
right
in, everybody.
now,
I appreciate it.
For us, is very cold.
If you're new in here, consider hitting
highway
the
is
subscribe button.
Pretty vacant right now. There's still some traffic, some truck traffic and things. I was just seeing a minute ago, but overall, I think people are listening to us.
I worked at Fox 7 back in the day. I remember a lot of those elevated roadways would get icy, and it was kind of like bumper cars on the road. What are your biggest concerns as this weather event progresses?
Yeah, so the biggest thing that we want people to do right now, we've got power, we've got things like that, but we want people to stay off of the road. So we, a couple days out, we put some brine on the road, that kind of sticky stuff that hopefully is sticking on there now. And then we're actually going out as it's icing and we're putting magnesium chloride on the intersections on the busier part. But that's not for people, that's for first responders if they have to get to somebody having a medical emergency, a fire, or a thing like that. So our biggest fear right now is people getting onto the roads and creating problems for all of us. And EMS has already let people know that they're transporting people to the very closest hospital to where they pick them up. They're not driving across the county to get them to their hospital of preference. So really the critical thing is staying off the roads, letting first responders do their jobs.
I know Austin, Texas is the live music capital of the world. I'm curious what the scene looks like on 6th Street and some of these social parts of town at this hour.
Yeah, it's pretty empty. I've not been to 6th Street tonight, so I can't say for sure what 6th Street looks like, but my sense is from everybody at the EOC is that generally people are eating this morning. The freeze came on around dark tonight, so I think some people maybe were going to have dinner. A week ago had set a dinner plan with some friends for 7 o'clock. The us earlier today saying that they were closed. So I think a lot of businesses are heeding this. They're closing it. People are staying at home. We've been asking people to, wherever you are, find a safe place to stay, a warm place to stay, and please stay put.
I appreciate all you
Earlier today, I went to visit the Central Texas Food Bank. I know y'all were talking about 2021 before. I became county judge about 3 months before Storm Uri hit us. And one of the things that happened is the Central Texas Food Bank did not have a backup generator. I actually had to go over there myself to turn off a water pipe because there was a big leak there, and that was a big problem. We've learned a lot in Central Texas since then. That Central Texas Food Bank now has a full generator to back up that entire facility so they can keep making food for the shelters that the city of Austin's providing. I think that has happened a lot across the city and the county. People have backup generators, but man, if ERCOT fails us, I think we're not going to be in a good place. So I hear from the governor, I hear from ERCOT that the grid, is holding steady, is looking good right now. But you asked me what the biggest fear is, and that would be losing power, because I think right now people are heeding our messages. They're at home, they're warm, but man, we don't want to see that power go out.
Travis County Judge and Director of Emergency Management, Andy Brown, thanks for joining us. God bless you and the great folks in Central Texas.
Thank you very much. Good to see you.
We are covering the storm 24/7 all through the weekend. We are Fox, combining our resources between Fox News Channel, Fox Business Network, and Fox Weather to help keep you and your family safe and informed. Thanks to our viewers across all three networks for joining us.
We are truly with you every step of the way as the storm moves across our country. It's hitting the southern plains, the Tennessee Valley, and the Northeast at this hour, and it will continue to wall over our country all the way through tomorrow. We'll be with you the entire journey. Stay with us here on Fox Weather.
The goose, the crime, the
Shutterfly makes it easy to give your memories the love they deserve. From big milestones to best buddies, trust your most loved memories with Most Loved Photo Maker. Shutterfly. Use code PICK3 to get free shipping on top of site-wide deals at Shutterfly.com.
At the end of the day, it's so much fun. Transitioning out of that can be difficult. To me, the wind down is making sure that I have a little bit of stillness. Ideally, it's just calm.
You might love pizza, sweets, and a drink or two. Unfortunately, your liver doesn't. Exhaustion, bloating, and feeling sluggish are warning signs your liver needs love. Active Liver by New Nordic provides an easy daily detox to help keep your liver healthy. Active Liver uses safe, natural ingredients like turmeric, milk thistle, and clove artichoke to cleanse and protect your liver, helping you feel more energized to enjoy the good things in life. Because when your liver is happy, your body's happy. Shop Active Liver online or select retailers.
When you start a new business, payroll, benefits, and HR are all part of the deal. But with Gusto, they're no deal. Whether you're paying your first employee, trying to keep your business going, or you want to start offering benefits, health insurance, workers' comp, or 401k, Gusto helps you take care of yourself so you can take care of business. Join 400,000 businesses at Gusto.com.
If your flow doesn't go like it used to, if it's P o'clock again, it could be an enlarged prostate blocking away. The Urolift system is a minimally invasive, non-destructive treatment for men 45 and over that simply moves the problem. Ask your urologist about the Urolift system. Most common side effects are temporary and can include discomfort with urinating, urgency, and ability to control the urge, causing pains and blood. Rare side effects include ladies' infection leading to a serious outcome that may require intervention. The Urolift system for rapid symptom relief.
Here's a little ballad about a man who asked his body instead of using manhood to ride to him for the job. But after a lifetime of sweeping his odor issues under the rug, he became a victim of his own smell. Manhood gets to the bottom of the problem, stopping the bacteria that causes BO, saving him from a lifetime of stigma. Don't mask him. Manhood.
Weather is part of the American story. From the first heat wave to the first frost, Fox Weather is there for you.
I'm gonna go see if I can help us. Yeah.
For all seasons, for all around, Fox Weather.
Thank you all so much for over 1,000 likes. I appreciate it.
Fox Weather is your winter storm HQ. A historic, sprawling winter storm
Shout out to
is
Radar
marching
Mega
its
for
way across
sponsoring this
our
stream.
country. The scope is truly immense.
Weather
We have
FIU.
every element, snow and
bottom
ice
left corner.
stretching from the southern plains all the way to New England. And all
Follow along
kinds
with
of
me and
winter
other storm
presets.
chasers
I mean,
in
you
the
name
country.
it. Snow, ice,
download it.
freezing rain.
The link.
Welcome back to our
in the
special
description of the
coverage and
channel.
our continuing coverage here on Fox Weather. I'm Britta Norman.
Britta, great to be working with you. I'm Mike Emanuel. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to our special coverage on Fox News Channel, Fox Business Network, and Fox Weather. We are combining our resources to bring you every angle of this massive storm from Texas all the way up to the East Coast.
Yeah, that's the special thing about Fox Weather is that we have partners like you, and it's great to work together to keep all of America safe and ahead of this storm. Here's a look at the numbers. I mean, we've got 40-plus states that are being impacted at this hour. So we're truly, just getting into it, folks. So we have a long stretch to get through. 240 million Americans are under some type of weather alert, and this storm stretches 2,300 miles.
Amazing. This is a sprawling system. More than 40 states are feeling the impacts from the snow, ice, and dangerous cold. Britta, where are we seeing problems right there?
Yeah, and right now, it's truly a loaded question, because what do you pick as the top priority? And really, there's so many spots that need attention. I want to spend a lot of time focusing on the ice, because that is truly going to be the largest problem, because you have a higher likelihood of losing power. We just talked to, Austin, Texas, and their concern is, can we keep the power on, which right now looks like ERCOT's doing fine for our friends in the Lone Star State watching us at this hour. But once you have power loss, that's when it starts to get a little scary because of how cold the temperatures are. You worry about people trying to stay safe, trying to stay warm. But this is truly why there's been so much communication about keeping people at home and off the roads, is because we've had a first wave of nasty precip moving through, developing ice. We had a lull, and now the second wave has arrived. That is thunder sleet that is falling over parts of hill country right now. You can think about it just as a thunderstorm, but it's just a frozen version of that with sleet starting to accumulate. As we lift up into Arkansas, you can get a nice shot of Little Rock and Memphis, both dealing with accreting ice at this hour. Throughout central portions of Mississippi, large accumulations. I mean, we're talking about pushing into 3/4 of an inch of ice, and we're not even halfway through the ice event for folks that live across the South. And that's what gets us to this, the power outage now. Numbers are continuing to climb. You can tell that Louisiana has now pushed into the red, meaning that we have 75% or 75%, of some counties dealing with power loss. And the temperatures, they're going to stay below freezing all the way through the middle part of next week. I mean, we'll be lucky next Tuesday afternoon to get above freezing for a couple hours, but then Mike, we have another freeze that moves in Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. So, a lot of these states have already canceled school for Monday. They're probably going to have to cancel for Tuesday and Wednesday just because the roads aren't going to be safe.
Kids will be happy.
The kids will be happy. Parents, Mike and I are parents too, so we get you. You have everybody bottled up inside. There's only so much you can take before you start getting on each other's nerves. But take a deep breath. We're here to ride through it. We do want to get everybody updated, so we're going to move on to another spot, and that is plus part of North Carolina. So we got dangerous and potentially crippling conditions for the Carolinas. I mean, you're talking about this nasty combo: heavy ice, snow, and then of course these frigid temperatures that could lead to more power loss. North Carolina is a state that we're very concerned about the hot topic of keeping that power on. Fox News multimedia reporter Chelsea Torres is joining us from Charlotte. Chelsea, it's so good to see you. Hope that you're staying warm, taking all those preps yourself. But how are things in Charlotte right now? I mean, I have family that live outside of Charlotte. They've sort of been saying that we're waiting for it, we're waiting for it.
Yeah, Britta, that's kind of what it's been like really all day, just until the last hour is when we really started seeing some of this precipitation and some of this rain. Crews from the city emergency management have said that this could be the most impactful winter storm that they've had in years. So you can imagine all hands on deck, not only just from now moving forward, but even for the past few days, and kind of give you an idea of what it's looking like up here. Because mind you, it's been pretty dry all day, but again, in the past hour, we really started getting some rain. You can kind of see, if you can maybe even hear, it's getting a little bit more slicked out even then, not just there, but even on your cars too. You have one of our crew vehicles right here. I'll kind of scrape a little bit. Mind you, this is very light, but that just kind of gives you an idea of just how cold it's already getting here, but then also that rain that's coming down, that really light precipitation that's already creating this icy effect. And we talk about those preps. I mean, even just this week, a lot of the city crews were saying they've already pre-prepped and pre-treated more than 1,300 miles of roads here in this area. Not to mention, people really are heeding a lot of those warnings. Just kind of going around, you've seen a lot of these salt trucks driving through. We have a lot of plows that have been ready and prepared. Even a few blocks down where I'm staying, I've seen already some emergency and energy trucks that are ready to go. Even then, a lot of people really are doing what they can. We've seen that the grocery stores are starting to get wiped out of a lot of items, especially water, especially those non-perishable items, even propane. For a lot of people that don't know, here in North Carolina, a lot of people do rely on propane or heating oil to stay warm. So if you imagine, if you have any kind of power outages, again, it's cold and people need everything they can to really stay warm. And when we talk about the ice and how dangerous it can be, city crews right now really are worried about the ice, more particularly even the lead arborist here in the city was talking about 1/4 of an inch on any of the tree limbs could break smaller limbs, but as soon as you get a little bit higher to about 1/2 inch of ice on some of those tree limbs, that can really be crippling. And here's what she had to say about even just trees that may not be new trees but might be older and might have some rot.
If a tree has any kind of root issues, if it sits on there for a long period of time and we get winds, we could potentially get whole tree failures as well. When trees fall, they're under a lot of tension, and if you cut the wrong space, it may spring back in a weird way or roll. So it's really important to allow this cleanup to happen by professionals that are out there.
And Britta, she was talking about people wanting to go out and try to cut up some trees on their own. That's when she's saying, just stay home, let the professionals do it. We'll keep an eye on what's happening here in Charlotte. We'll see it here in the next hour. Britta.
Yeah, stay warm out there, Chelsea. Thank you so much. That is Fox News multimedia reporter Chelsea Torres reporting live in Charlotte, North Carolina. As this storm makes its trek across the southeast, it will spread the crippling ice and snow. We're talking about millions of Americans that are going to have to face this behemoth head on. You're taking a live look at Oxford, Mississippi. We do have our Brandy Campbell stationed there, so stay with us. We'll give you sort of that ground truth of what's going on. But wow, well, this is probably the best perspective, mind you. Guys, can we go back to that camera shot really quick? After all our producers off heels. This is insane. This is why they're telling you to stay off the road. There's no way you can drive on this road.
It's treacherous, absolutely. Like a spin out waiting to happen.
Yeah, and you know, now that we're starting to see ice secretions in the state of Mississippi get above a 1/2 inch, it's only going to get worse. So very important for people to keep those warnings. And judging off that camera, I mean, we didn't see one car. So
thank God.
Sounds like people are doing their part of the job. So let's look at what's happening across the southern plains. Part of the issue here is that this was a 1-2 punch for the southern plains. So we had a lull this afternoon. Hopefully people didn't take that as an invitation to get on out because it was very well advertised that this would be a 1-2 punch. But the second punch is more potent. So right now in Dallas, it's 17 degrees. It is pouring rain, but it's freezing on contact, and that's how we start to see some really large ice accumulations, is because it is so cold and we have so much moisture. But look at the temperature difference. In Houston, we're sitting in the mid-30s, which is cold, but above freezing. You're 20 degrees colder as you go up towards Dallas. So some wild variations that we're seeing across the south at this hour, and it's delivering a little bit of everything.
Ice storm warnings. For your safety, it is best to stay home during the storm and only travel in the case of emergency. But if you are on the road, leave room for snow plows to clear the way.
Parking lot.
You can hear those
Heights.
plows working on Saturday on I-269, DeSoto County, Mississippi.
Yeah, by the Ice&Snow out here for Heights for so far. So a little update. It still looks like the
and overpasses, which can get really treacherous in 26 counties. The latest information coming into our newsroom. Fort Worth police say they responded to more than 100
probably going to deal with
weather-related calls between midnight and 8 p.m. on
podcast
Saturday,
I'm going to be going
including almost
to
60 crashes and almost
going home, going to bed.
60 stranded drivers. Thunder sleep was reported in Texas and Oklahoma just minutes ago. And the Texas Department of
I'll be back out here again tomorrow
Transportation
morning or
saying
tomorrow afternoon
crews will be out treating roads all through the night.
the evening
Keep
again.
up with the latest headlines as they update in real time
Covering
on
the
our
ice.
website,
All that stuff tomorrow.
foxweather.com.
It's going to
We'll
look
be right back.
far worse than this. I hear. This is nothing, right? This is just.
Stay tuned to get an all-new. When the day is light, focus on the best. With the nightly drink that supports your body's natural sleep cycle.
This is what we get every year.
Helping you wind down, improve sleep quality, and wake up refreshed. With premium, clinically studied key ingredients, and without melatonin. AGV, it's the nightly drink for winding down and resting up.
Reba here, back to tell you about Realtor.com. With over 500,000 new listings month, you can find your dream home today. Well, even not close. So work with number one and make it real with Realtor.com.
NetCredit is here to say yes to a personal loan or line of credit, even when other lenders won't. Apply online in minutes and get funds deposited the next business day or sooner. Go to netcredit.com. NetCredit. Credit to the people.
Another day in the finance. Wait, did we pay this already? 6017 Receipts, expense reports, invoices, purchase orders. What's that? Money? Cards with built-in policy. Expenses that submit themselves.
Carson, the storm was not a bus. It was not a bus. I wish everybody would stop.
Love finance.
Here's an amazing fact. 70 million Americans lie awake every night, staring at the ceiling. Their health deteriorating every single day. This is escalating to nationwide emergency. Relaxing sleep is the solution. America's #1 trusted sleep aid, but this is my company and I swear by it. Try Relaxing Sleep. We're free today. You have nothing to lose except
Visit relaxingsleep.com or call 800-420-2190.
I posted this on Facebook earlier too to make it very clear about my. How I feel about this story.
Here's a little ballad about a man who asked his body over.
Somebody out there in Virginia is affected by stuff like this, right? We just watched the car accident happen.
After a lifetime, sweeping his odor issues under the rug, he became a victim of his own smell. Mando gets to the bottom of the problem, stopping the bacteria that causes VO.
So you think that person that this guy has a bust? Somebody's always going to be affected by this kind of stuff, right? This is snow. This is winter weather.
More
This
than
isn't like
195 million Americans are under winter alerts as these massive winter storm bears down on most of the country. Let's take a live look at Louisville, Kentucky. One would bet that the ice may be a factor there as we track this storm all across the southeast.
Storm's a bust.
Up to the East Coast. Welcome back.
It just started.
Literally just started. And Fox Business.
Means that
as this storm bears down on more than 40 states,
the storm is not.
We're seeing a number of snow and ice reports coming to the newsroom.
So like, if I were to say, hey, I'm going to go chase this 5% tornado risk in
Sound alert. Type commands for different commands.
You're looking at computer models. You're trying to get a sense of where features are going to pop up. But now we're in the heat of the moment, and we really start to depend on radar, but
and
also
I go up there expecting a tornado,
which is what makes our Fox weather team so important. We have such a large stretch here that we have a lot of people out there providing us
my chat is expecting a tornado, and we get up there and there's no tornado, or not even a thunderstorm. Then we can say, oh, nothing happened. This storm is a bust, right? But you can't necessarily say because they call for snow. And again, this is still a very dangerous situation for a lot of people.
when you see the white popping up on radar,
watch the girl get her car almost totaled.
The snow in short amount of time. Of course, the big focus
the
on
car just get
ice shield,
the whole rear end
that's
is
really
switched
concerned about having power outages. Right now in North Carolina, crossing over that freezing rain, we're starting to accumulate the ice, and unfortunately, the fear, Mike, is that we could start to see a lot of power outages starting to stack up across North Carolina.
We're in a busy night ahead.
Because it's not dropping 24 inches of snow doesn't mean it's not.
As this major winter storm brings the threat of significant ice accretion across Middle Tennessee, concerns are growing about power outages and prolonged cold.
Joining us now is the Executive Vice President at the National Weather Service, Brent Baker. So good to see you. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much for getting the message out.
Now, Brent, at this hour, what's really the largest concern for Nashville?
Yeah, so now is watching the weather come in as that precipitation is coming in, whether it's going to freeze on the trees and on our minds is the biggest concern, and being that we're prepared to respond as quickly as possible to just pump that real deal tonight.
How widespread do you expect outages to be? And we're looking at a forecast with significant cold in the coming days. So how widespread do you fear those outages?
Yeah, of course, at this point, it's hard to determine just where it's going to be. It depends on the ice accumulation and the wind speeds as it develops.
What's that special? Special says tell that I said hi.
It's severe amount for utilities, and especially in this area, because the wind does start to add on to that. That could cause severe issues, and then the trees adding to that. So we're prepared with our crews to respond as quickly as possible. We've got a great community who partners with us to be as prepared as possible. And so as we get into this cold week, being able to get power restored quickly and be able to weather this extreme cold.
Now, Brent, sometimes the demand can be an issue, right? You've done all the prep, your infrastructure is holding together, but let's face it, we got really cold temperatures that are going to last for a long amount of time, so there's a lot of people that are cranking up the heat.
What
How
do
are
they
you
mean
looking
it's
in Middle Tennessee
We're about to get
dealing with
a
the
foot of
demand
snow.
and supply
That's not a bus, that's an actual wind.
Yes, so
that's cool too. So depending if you're a snow lover,
megawatts in the last couple of
you
years.
can have your opinion on if it's from the bus because you're expecting that to be a lot. But like I said, it's a very subjective thing. Right? Chasing a thunderstorm that doesn't produce is a very objective thing.
Executive Vice President at the Nashville Electric Service, Brent Baker. Our best to you and the good folks in Nashville. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And the storm is working its way all the way to the East Coast. In fact, at this hour, getting those first reports of snow accumulating in the state of Virginia. It's only going to be, a couple hours more before we start getting the reports of snowflakes across places like Philadelphia, New York City, and eventually all the way up to Boston. Now, the Northeast in general has been snow-starved, to be quite honest. Sure, if you live in lake effect snow country, you've had your fair share of snow. In fact, this season, we are breaking record numbers off the shores of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. But the 95 corridor, we are way behind, and we have been for over 5 years. We're going to catch up for lost time with this storm. We have multiple spots that are up and down the 95 corridor that will surpass 10 to 12 inches of snow. What could lower the snow totals is if we see that crossover to sleet and we get some ice mixing in. It looks like that could be a concern up to the I-80 corridor. So if you live north of Interstate 80, with exception of far coastal communities like working up towards the Cape, maybe Providence, Rhode Island, you are going to stay all snow. But working towards the coast and south of I-80, we're going to get a big influence from the Atlantic Ocean. And right now, the water temperatures in the Atlantic are in the 40s. So I know it's brutally cold. We have that Arctic air in place, but you can't surpass that effect that the Atlantic gives. And we are going to see a mix over into some sleet and some ice. So that's why you see this big drop-off. Look at south of New York. Snow totals, 8 to 12 inches. It drops to 5 to 8 for Delaware. That's that influence from the Atlantic Ocean. Northern portions of New England moving into our elevated spots like the Catskills, the Green Mountains. That's where we're going to see well over 1.5 feet of snow. Here's a look at the timing. As we go throughout the overnight, we start to moisten up the atmosphere. That process takes a while. That's why we have these cute little snowflakes right now in D.C. They will transform into a not-so-cute form of snow, and we really will start to stack up numbers here. As we wake up tomorrow morning, everybody's dealing with the snow. This is a look at tomorrow night, and it's still coming down. So we're not going to see everything taper off until until we get into Monday morning. Once we go to about 11 o'clock, we're done. But then we have a brisk wind over Great Lakes. That can lead to some snow squalls, depending on how much moisture we have working behind the system. But we will have to look out for that. Look at the temperatures here. Very cold behind the storm. That cold air is going to be staying in place. So whatever falls is going to be staying with us. It's very important that you do that work, you get out, and you start to shovel everything off. My best advice here, that is to get out a couple times to do some shoveling. In these areas across the Northeast where we know that we're going to get over 12 inches, you know, every 3 hours, every 4 hours, go out and do a little bit of a shovel action, because it's a lot easier on your body if you take shifts instead of waiting until it's all done, going out. That's where you get yourself into a bad situation. Well, this massive winter storm, it also is going to bring severe weather if we didn't have enough to track, right? And in the deep south, this is a huge threat, especially as we go into tomorrow. So the southerly component of this winter storm, that's where we're working with all that Gulf moisture. And because we do have a very vigorous jet, that's a fast-moving column of air way up by where the airplanes fly, it's going to combine into all the ingredients that we look out for when it comes to severe weather potential. And this, unfortunately, is going to lead to the threat for tornadoes. There's so much twist in the atmosphere. That's really the top thing that we're concerned about. So for Sunday, we have a level 2 out of 5 heads up here that severe weather is possible. Our concern is that we start to get a lot of moisture coming in off the Gulf. That flow brings in the showers. They interact and they start to turn. And any rotating thunderstorm is going to lead to an isolated tornado. So again, I don't think we're going to see widespread severe weather reports, but definitely we have the concern here where we could see several tornadoes pop up. Here's a look at the fast winds aloft. Again, that is what these thunderstorms that are building vertically are exposed to. That's how you start to get them to twist and turn. In addition to that, you can have strong stream lightning. And if you have a wind gust of 95 miles per hour, it doesn't matter what direction it's coming from or if it's twisting or turning, it's going to cause damage. And along this powerful line of thunderstorms that will be moving through late morning through early afternoon, because these thunderstorms build vertically, Mike, they can grab onto those strong winds aloft, they throw them down to the ground, and that's how you get that strong straight line wind. So multiple threats here to get think about.
It's amazing that working in Texas, I think it's severe weather season is when the tornadoes start, but we're talking about severe weather season here with the Arctic cold.
Yeah, I mean, really, you can have everything locked up into these winter storms. So the timeline is taking us all the way through the afternoon and the evening. Once that cold front rolls through, your severe weather threat does drop. So it's a short window here, but you want to make sure you pay attention to it. Also a good idea in your safe spot, put coats, shoes, and flashlights. Once these thunderstorms roll through, it's cold. When they leave, you got to make sure you bundle up your kiddos if you have to get out.
Great advice. You're watching special coverage of this massive winter storm as Fox News Channel, Fox Business Network, and Fox Weather combine our resources and expertise to keep you and your family safe. Thanks to our viewers across all 3 networks for joining us. We'll be right back.
The goose.
Unfortunately, your liver doesn't. Exhaustion, bloating, and feeling sluggish are warning signs your liver needs love. Active Liver by New Nordic provides an easy daily detox to help keep your liver healthy. Active Liver uses safe natural ingredients like turmeric, milk thistle, and grove artichoke to cleanse and protect your liver, helping you feel more energized and enjoy the good things in life. Because when your liver is happy, your body's happy. Shop Active Liver online or at select retailers.
Good Ranchers is delivering American-sourced proteins the way it used to be, from farm to family.
Over 30% of the food sold in grocery stores goes to waste, and many of us don't give it a second thought.
Our meat and seafood is individually portioned and vacuum sealed, locking in freshness and flavor.
Allowing you to feed your family with what you need while reducing waste.
Visit GoodRanchers.com.
Here's an amazing fact. 70 million Americans lie awake at night staring at the
This is escalating. Relaxing sleep is the solution. America's #1 trusted sleep. Everybody. Mike Huckley and I. Try relaxing sleep risk-free today. You have nothing to lose except.
Visit relaxingsleep.com or call 800-420-2190.
Most people have no idea just
Sound
how filthy
alert.
the shower is.
We didn't
Type.
either until we
Commands
tested
for
ours.
different
We found
commands.
no full of chlorine, heavy metals, rust, full city water pipes.
These contaminants were directly connected to my eczema and dry skin.
And my hair loss.
So my best friend, sister, and I created Eskin, the best filter shower ever.
It installs in minutes, and if it doesn't deliver the best shower experience you've ever had, we'll give you only another
92% of our customers see better skin and hair in just weeks. So head to Eskin.com to filter your shower water with us today.
You're told to optimize, to happen. Every January, what if you never been just a hope? Your biology knows how to thrive. It just needs a reminder. Armor Colostrum reawakens that purpose. 400 nutrients, 4 seconds, 1 daily reminder. This year, remember what you're made of.
A massive and dangerous winter storm slamming more than half of our country at this hour. Snow, ice, sleet, and freezing rain as Americans are facing some dangerous conditions on top of their doorsteps.
Now, like Emmanuel, great to be working with you, Greta. Thanks for joining us, and welcome to special coverage on Fox News Channel, Fox Business Network, and Fox Weather. We are combining our extensive resources to bring you every angle of this massive storm from Texas all the way up the East Coast.
Yeah, something only our Fox Weather, Fox News Channel, Fox Business Network partners can do for you. We can't really overstate the magnitude of this storm. I mean, physically, it's huge. It goes from the southwest all the way to the East Coast. So we have 195 million Americans that are under some type of winter weather alert. And it spans 2,300 miles across 40 states. That's a stretch there.
Wow. Just massive, and glad we have so many folks out covering it and so many different viewpoints we can provide our viewers. This is a live look at Washington, D.C. Snowflakes are beginning to fall there at the United States Capitol. The city is expecting this to be one of the biggest snowstorms there in years. Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff is live in our nation's capital as snow creeps in. And Alex, when did you see those first flakes flying?
Hi, Mike. Yeah, I think we're somewhere within the 11 p.m. hour. And we have this very glittering snowfall happening right now with some significant wind. But this might be the pretty time. You know, you kind of see it sparkling on the ground there. Things are going to get really fast. D.C. is no stranger to snow. We get that about every year. But typically, when we do experience snowfall, the temperatures are just around the freezing point. You know it is going to be significantly colder than that this time around. So the main concern here is the ice buildup on the roadways, also the trees, making them vulnerable to snapping. A lot of people I've talked to, their main concern is losing power. I mean, if you lose power and it is 18 degrees out, that becomes a very serious situation very fast. It's hard to get anywhere or for anybody to get to you. D.C. is a city with infrastructure that is really made to be able to handle harsh conditions, not extreme conditions. The metro system, unlike other northeastern cities, a lot of it's above ground. After a certain point in snowfall, about 8 inches, much of the metro will likely not be operational. This is a city that relies on mass transit because these roadways, even though we still see some people out here right now, I mean, this is going to be something where people just shouldn't be on the roads. D.C.'s Mayor, Muriel Bowser, she has requested the support of the National Guard, particularly their high clearance vehicles. She wants to make sure that first responders can still make it through once things really ramp up to people who will need assistance during the storm. Somebody who maybe loses power, has a health emergency during this time. So people around here, I think the general sentiment is that they are taking this seriously. We talked about last hour, Mike. A lot of people are from out of town. It's kind of a transient city. They are from places where they're not as familiar with these freezing temperatures and snowfall. So people have really spent the past couple of days gearing up for all of this, and the groceries they're getting, the kind of stuff they're getting for their homes to keep prepared for this. So it's a serious weather event. People are taking it seriously. We're going to make sure that we keep you up to date as it all comes down, Mike.
Alex, your shot looks like a Christmas card. I'm wondering, are you getting any icing there on the sidewalk and on the road, or is it just the flakes?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is certainly slick. As we've seen, there's been a couple people, remember, they're still hospital workers, so there's some people who have to be out. I've seen a little bit of the turning of the wheels at this point, but it is that dusting. We don't expect it just to stay that way.
Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff. Alex, great to see you. Thanks for This is a swelling system. More than 40 states are feeling the impacts from the snow, ice, and dangerous cold. Britta, where are we seeing the biggest problems at this hour?
Likely Texas, Arkansas, Mississippi, where we're losing power. You know, that's our belt where we have already accreted a good amount of ice, and that's leading to the weight on the power lines, the trees that are coming down, and then, of course, we have power loss. So just focusing on the reports that are in regards to freezing rain, you can see a big cluster here across Texas, stretches up through parts of Mississippi, Louisiana, and now gets into North Carolina. So that whole stretch there, it's over 1,400 miles. I mean, that's a lot of folks that are dealing with freezing rain, and that's truly our largest concern when it comes to power loss, is where we're picking up on the ice. Let's isolate the Lone Star State going into Texas right now. We do have thunder sleet being reported on Interstate 45. Also East Texas, we have some thunder freezing rain. That speaks to the intensity of what we're seeing in the atmosphere. So when you think about thunder, obviously you think about thunderstorm, right? The more extreme type of rain. Same thing here. It's just the winter version. So when we start to see lightning popping up on radar, that's signifying that we have a little more oomph and a little more power to the atmosphere. Looking at the Shreveport area, we have 2.3 inches of accumulation. That is snow, but also we have ice that's mixing in. So in these areas where we have the ice building up, like if you think about like an igloo, so you have the snow starting to creep up, and then you have the layer of ice on top of that. That is the nasty combination that we're going to see in so many of these cities that are along this belt.
Fascinating to watch. And when you consider the great state of Texas being so large, and I saw Midland and Odessa out west has like 14 degrees. Yeah. It must be snow there predominantly, but then all these other complex weather systems elsewhere.
Well, and you have to think about the temperatures as you go up off the ground. So I think most of us, when we look at a weather map, we think kind of linear, right? But as a meteorologist, you have to think of the z-axis. You're going up above the ground. And right here, Columbia, South Carolina, great example. As you go up off the ground, you have a section of the atmosphere that's very mild, above 32. And we're not even talking just about freezing. We have temperatures in like the 40s above the ground when we're sitting in the teens at the ground. So that extreme difference, that's how we're getting the thunder being reported across the Lone Star State, across parts of Louisiana. But also, that's what's allowing for that huge accumulation of ice at the surface, is that big temperature difference right there. You know, that warm air, it goes right up over that cold air. You think about, you know, that old saying, warm air rises. Well, it's actually not just a saying, it's actual physics. That's how our atmosphere works. And so that's what's allowing the ice to happen. That warm air is going up over cold air, and then it falls down and then creates ice on the roads.
And this will be the educational working with you.
There you go. Everybody can get a little meteorology degree if you're up with us tonight. Grab a cup of coffee. We have our extreme amount of caffeine as well. We're here with you through 6 a.m. But look at radar. I mean, it truly is a large falling system. You have to go back probably 5 to 8 years to take a look at a storm that crosses this many states. That snow belt is very important to bring up too. I know that we're putting a lot of emphasis on the ice, which is rightfully so. But if you look at the snow that is starting to accumulate just north of that ice belt, you start to see these signatures that pop up as a light white. So I'll just go in south of St. Louis here, around Paducah. You know, when you see all of that white over Carbondale moving over to Evansville, that's intense snow. We're talking about picking up more than an inch of snow per hour. So in these overnight hours, you're not going to go out and shovel. They're going to wake up, go outside, and have to deal with a lot.
We've got you covered.
And as we take a look at the southeast, let's head into Memphis, Tennessee. We got 17 degrees right now. I feel like temperature is 6. It is brutally cold. This is a good perspective because it's kind of like the eagle eye. You can tell how slow those two cars are moving. Okay, so we got somebody coming over to overpass. This is a good sort of look of what happens here. They're driving slow, good recommendation there, but those overpasses, they ice so quickly. We got cold air below, cold air on top. Moving our cameras to Starksville, Mississippi, you see the ice building up on the power lines. This is probably the best camera to look at because you can actually see the ice on the power lines itself.
You can see the slow roadway as well, so it's treacherous either way, whether it's the power lines and or on the roadway.
Yeah, you know, these are areas where people are being urged to stay off the roads. As we flip the camera to Oxford, Mississippi, which we do have a reporter station there, so if you're curious on what it looks like, you guys got some kids at Ole Miss, I'm sure you're talking to them, but we'll definitely give you that ground truth of what's happening. And looking at the roads, you can tell that they've done a good job clearing them, but let me tell you, you think that it's just pavement. It is ice. We have so much ice that we're going to be before sunset. Tomorrow morning, it's going to be treacherous. And this is sort of a good angle with the light kind of refracting off of the icy roads. Different angle, you might be able to drive from this perspective, you'll see the light shining off of the ice. And then, of course, you got the ice road.
He's 98% on room here. Kind of in the soft content there. Stay warm and right up the storm.
Here's the end of the 40 minutes, 15.
And we're going to be about 5-10 minutes out, depending on weather.
There are parts of Louisiana and Mississippi that could still pick up a half inch of ice in the overnight hours. So we're going to have multiple spots that at the end of this will have over an inch of ice accretion. When you think about an inch of ice, you're talking about an
Sound
immense
alert.
amount of weight on power lines. There's
Type.
no way we'll
Commands
be able
for
to
different
run power lines
commands.
across the South.
All right, video shows.
Yeah, we're not trying to go to Fredericksburg either.
Truck driver pushing a driver back onto I-240 in Memphis on Saturday morning. Icy roads mean for dangerous driving conditions, it is best to stay in, get cozy, and wait out the storm from home. The latest headlines from Fox Weather: more than 175,000 power outages have been reported.
Yeah, we're not trying to go to Fredericksburg
70,000
either.
of those in Louisiana. We are also closely monitoring central Texas. In western Louisiana right now, there is a growing risk for freezing rain to leave a coating of ice on several cities north of I-10, including Austin, Killeen, and Lufkin. Also in Texas, local police say they responded to more than 150 weather-related calls between midnight and 8 p.m. on Saturday.
You guys seen this neighborhood on cops?
Nearly
Really?
60 crashes and almost 60 stranded drivers.
You don't know if you're working tomorrow?
This massive storm is just getting started. Major East Coast cities are staring down the prospect of the biggest snowstorm in years. More than a foot of snow in the forecast as we look live at our nation's capital, the United States Capitol building.
Appreciate you guys doing the live video. Of course, sign up.
Stay with us.
And before we head to break, travel issues are mounting at this hour. We have had more than 1,500.
They're just doing it manually. No way that just happened.
Out of the Dallas area. As we take a look at the total cancellations, they're over 9,000. So we got some big time problems, folks. The power line travel is starting to grow, especially for states like Louisiana.
Are we serious?
And Texas. We're with you throughout the night. Mike and I are on shift through 6 a.m., but then we pass the baton. We've been on air since the beginning of this storm. We'll stay on air through the end. Fox Weather is here with you every step of the way. We're live 24/7 on air and online. You can find out how to stream us by going to foxweather.tv. Fox Weather is your Winter Storm HQ. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Did you know that thousands of authors across the country
I'm a mom, I'm an executive, I'm a sideline cheerleader.
AG1 supports my gut health by making sure I get prebiotics, probiotics, and those digestive enzymes right at the start of each day. People rely on me. The kids rely on me. My team at work relies on me. And having balanced gut health really leads me to help balance the rest of my life.
There are thousands of pictures on your phone, but some just hold a special place in you. Get your memories off your phone and onto a blanket, into a photo book, or onto a wall. Use code PICFREE to get free shipping on top of site-wide deals at Shutterfly.com.
You're told to optimize, to hack. Every January, what if you were never made just a hole? Your biology knows how to thrive. It just needs a reminder. Armor Colostrum reawakens to that brains. 400 nutrients, 4 seconds, 1 daily revival. This year, remember
I'll get on the mic this way. Okay.
You might love pizza, sweets, and a drink or two. Unfortunately, your liver doesn't. Exhaustion, bloating, and feeling sluggish are warning signs your liver needs love. Active Liver by New Nordic provides an easy daily detox to help keep your liver healthy. Active Liver uses safe, natural ingredients like turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke to cleanse and protect your liver, helping you
Looks like it's increasing. Oh yeah, there's some sleep starting to come in with it too. So it's getting to that point.
Active Liver online or at select retailers.
Charles Lincoln Henry 7006, I'm like Toyota Camry.
These daycare centers, we'd like to ask where the money's going.
It sucks to lose power, especially in this type of weather. Especially in this type of weather.
When you start a new business, payroll, benefits, and HR
Someone really
are all
wants their
part
mom
of
to get off.
the Gusto.
Wipers are good. Yeah, the wipers are looking good.
Whether you're paying your first employer, trying to keep your business
so far, I really hope,
or you want to start offering benefits, health insurance, workers' comp, or 401k. Gusto helps you take care of your team, so you can take care of business. Join 400,000 businesses.
Wish you guys to drive and stay safe.
A massive winter storm is trekking across the country, bringing ice, snow, and freezing rain to more than 245 million Americans. That is a live look at Murray, Kentucky, where ice is obviously a big concern at this hour. You have worries about ice on power lines, potentially impacting
especially for the ones that haven't felt the impact yet.
Also, ice potentially on roadways, which would be treacherous for drivers trying to get where they're trying to go. Welcome back to our special coverage on Fox News, Fox Weather, and Fox Business. I'm Mike Emanuel. As this massive storm bears down on more than 40 states, we're seeing a number of snow and ice reports coming into the newsroom. Fox Weather meteorologist Britta Merlin is in weather.
Yeah, Blumhouse is just, I guess, having fun.
The numbers are starting to be concerning in regards to the power outage. The power outage numbers have gone up just by about 8,000 customers. We checked in, 30 minutes ago on that number. So again, we're starting to
follow up again. Thank you for the good energy, Sam.
The amount of customers that are coming.
Thank you for the good energy. The wipers will live on.
And that's a big concern, guys. It's brutally cold outside.
Honda Civic has been
tackling.
tackling.
This number does not continue to climb, and that's the thing that we're most scared about. Now, looking at the other numbers on this billboard, top snow report right now is 13 inches for New Mexico. The funny thing is, by the time we end this, like, let's say by the time we get to Monday afternoon, that's not even going to be close to the biggest number. Somebody across the Northeast is probably going to pop 2 feet of snow. And likely it's going to be up in the Catskills, up in the Green Mountains, a little bit of elevation, but we're going to see some big-time numbers coming out of the Northeast. Top sleet accumulation, 5 inches in Arkansas. 5 inches of sleet. So if you're not too familiar with sleet and what it looks like when it accumulates, it's like you're building a really big slushy on your front lawn. I mean, it's nasty, it's icy, there's a lot of moisture content to it. It's extremely hard to
a lot of people.
So definitely some scary numbers when it comes to that. The ice,
we have
seen some areas, Mike, where the
thought
ice
this snow wasn't even going to happen.
To approach 1 inch. We have a long night ahead of us. We're going to have freezing rain that continues all the way through tomorrow morning.
We're going to get a dusting, and that's about it. It's still coming down. It's going to continue to come down.
Look at that jump up. I mean, gosh, we got to 11 p.m. and we're up to 30,000 customers without power.
That's upsetting when you consider the cold. Busy night ahead of us, Britta. We've got folks at home. The newest information from Fox Weather, more than 175,000 power outages have now been reported across the U.S., more than 70,000 of those in Louisiana. We're also closely monitoring central Texas and western Louisiana right now. There's a growing risk for freezing rain to leave a coating of ice on several cities north of I-10, including Austin, Lufkin, also in Texas. Fort Worth police say they responded to more than 150 weather-related calls between midnight and 8 p.m. on Saturday, including nearly 60 crashes and almost 60 stranded drivers. It is no stranger to power outages, treacherous travel, and in days of bitter cold, they are once again in the crosshairs. Joining us now is the Travis County, Texas Judge and Director of Emergency Management, Andy Brown, overseeing the response as conditions worsen. Andy, what's the situation right now there in Travis County?
300 people power out in Richmond so far.
It's cold, really? It's sleeting. Thankfully, people seem to be staying off the roads, which we've been asking them to do all day, and thankfully we've been preparing people for this all week. So we've had meetings with the city, with the state, with TDEM and the state, making sure that we have assets in place and really getting that message out that, man, this is Texas. We're not used to the cold. When the roads freeze, we don't know how to drive on them. People need to stay off those roads. It seems like that message is working pretty well tonight. It's 27 degrees right now, which for us is very cold, and the highways look pretty vacant right now. There's still some traffic, some truck traffic and things. I was just seeing a minute ago, but
and believe me,
overall, I think
more people to benefit from seeing.
I worked at Fox 7 back in the day. I remember a lot of those elevated roadways would get icy, and it was kind of like bumper cars on the road. What are your biggest concerns as this weather event progresses?
Yeah, so the biggest thing that we want people to do right now, we've got power, we've got things like that, but we want people to stay off of the road. So a couple days out, we put brine on the road, that kind of sticky stuff that hopefully is sticking on there now. And then we're actually going out as it's icing, and we're putting magnesium chloride on the intersections on the busier part. But that's not for people, normal people. That's for first responders if they have to get to somebody having a medical emergency, a fire, a thing like that. So our biggest fear right now is people getting onto the roads and creating problems for all of us. The EMS has already let people know that they're transporting people to the very closest hospital to where they pick them up. They're not driving across the county to get them to their hospital of preference. So really the critical thing is staying off the roads, letting first responders do their jobs.
I know Austin, Texas is the live music capital of the world. I'm curious what the scene looks
Sound
like
alerts.
on 6th Street and some of these social
Type
parts of town.
commands for different commands.
Yeah, it's pretty empty. I've not been to 6th Street tonight, so I can't say for sure what 6th Street looks like, but my sense is from everybody at the EOC is that generally people are heating this morning. The freeze came on around dark tonight, so I think some people maybe were going to have dinner. A week ago had set a dinner plan with some friends for 7 o'clock. The restaurant called us earlier today saying that they were closed. So I think a lot of businesses are heating this. They're closing it. People are staying at home. We've been asking people to, wherever you are, find a safe place to stay, a warm place to stay, and please stay put. Earlier today, I went to visit the Central Texas Food Bank. I know y'all were talking about 2021 before. I became county judge about 3 months before Storm Uri hit us. And one of the things that happened is the Central Texas Food Bank did not have a backup generator. I actually had to go over there myself to turn off a water pipe because there was a big leak there, and that was a big problem. We've learned a lot in Central Texas since then. That Central Texas Food Bank now has a full generator to back up that entire facility so they can keep making food for the shelters that the city of Austin's providing. I think that has happened a lot across the city and the county. People have backup generators, but man, if ERCOT fails us, I think we're not going to be in a good place. So I hear from the governor, I hear from ERCOT that the grid, is holding steady, is looking good right now. But you asked me what the biggest fear is, and that would be losing power, because I think right now people are heeding our messages. They're at home, they're warm, but man, we don't want to see that power go out.
Travis County Judge and Director of Emergency Management, Andy Brown, thanks for joining us. God bless you and the great folks in Central Texas.
Thank you very much. Good to see you.
And And this storm is making its way all the way to the East Coast. I mean, we're talking more than 40 states here being impacted at this hour by this winter storm. And when we take a look at the Northeast, this is going to be one of the biggest snowstorms that many folks along the 95 corridor has felt in probably over 5 years. Longer for other folks. I mean, this is a big-time snowstorm. And we've been in a huge snow drought for folks that live up and down the 95 corridor. All the snow has been locked up in lake effect country off the shores of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. So here's a look at radar right now. The snow's coming down to D.C. Nothing being reported in Philly or New York yet, but the temperatures are there. We're in the teens. So what's happening right now is that all of that moisture is moving in, but also the vertical stacking of the atmosphere is starting to moisten up.
You're driving around and post it up. Oh, we're about to start moving around in a bit.
This is what we're looking at. So this is the latest. If you're just checking in, again, this forecast continues to evolve. We've lowered those snow totals over the last 24 hours south of New York because we're going to, unfortunately, have ice mixing in. That lowers the amount of snow that we get in terms of accumulation, but it increases the impact. You throw in ice, it's a game changer. It's harder to keep the power on. The roads are going to be tougher to navigate. North of I-80, that's where we're going to stay all snow. We have over 1.5 feet of snow that's anticipated across parts of New York and northern New England. So some of our biggest snow totals will come out of Massachusetts, New York State, and then moving up through the Brookshires. Taking a look at the timing here, the overnight is when the snow builds in. So by tomorrow morning, most of the Northeast is dealing with snow. This is a snapshot at 10 a.m. It's getting all the way up into down East Maine. Look at D.C. and Richmond. Temperatures are brutally cold. We're in the teens, the low 20s, but we're dealing with freezing rain. Unfortunately, we're getting a lot of influence from the So again, because the track of the road is so close to the coastline, we're going to get influence from the Atlantic Ocean where water temps are in the 40s. So I know we got air temperatures in the teens, about 20 degrees. That's cold air, but that warm air is cutting in, and that's going to allow for those snowflakes to melt, and then they refreeze as they make contact with the ground. Let's talk about what's happening tomorrow night. We're still in it, folks. This is a long-duration marathon, not a sprint. That area of low pressure is right off the tri-state area of Jersey, Connecticut, New York. We got temperatures that are very cold. We do have 2 areas of low pressure. You can see another area of low pressure really in southern portions of Pennsylvania and West Virginia. So this is a complicated setup. We do have a little bit of a dry slot. Maybe that could lower some snow totals for the 95 corridor. Once we go into our Monday, we start to trail off, and by Monday afternoon, we're finally done. We will possibly see some lake effect snow on the backside, so please keep that in mind for folks in western New York and also parts of Pennsylvania. Here's the ice, and again, I-80 is kind of a good cutoff. If you live south of I-80, you have an opportunity to unfortunately have ice with the snow, especially parts of West Virginia and Virginia. I mean, gosh, Richmond could be dealing with several inches of snow, and on top of that, we could have a ½ inch of ice. It's going to cause kind of this igloo effect where all of that snow is going to be encased in ice. So it's very important while you can during the day on Sunday, get out and try and do some snow removal. Because if you wait, it's going to be covered in ice, and it's going to be really hard to get it off because we stay below freezing for the Northeast all the way through next week. Looking at Richmond, just isolating the ice, and again, we will have snow under this ice. Richmond's looking at the potential of a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch of ice accumulation. The 95 corridor, Mike, it's so densely populated. When you think about a spot like Richmond, Virginia, getting possibly an inch of ice, just under an inch of ice, this is going to lead to huge power outage numbers across the state of Virginia, and North Carolina is probably in the same spot.
Amazing. We will be tracking it all. We are covering this storm 24/7 all throughout this weekend. We are Fox, combining our resources between Fox News Channel, Fox Business Network, and Fox Weather to help keep you and your family safe and informed. Thanks to across all 3 networks for joining us.
We are with you every single step of the way. We have been live since the storm started. Mike and I are with you all the way through 6 a.m. and then our next team will take over. We will be by your side throughout the duration of the storm and after. Right back. Stay with us here on Fox Weather.
Here's the problem with your shower water. It's loaded with chlorine, heavy metals, and rust from old city water pipes that's been slowly damaging your skin, hair, and health for years. That's why switch to the Eskin filtered shower head. It's easy to install and removes harsh contaminants with better skin and hair guarantee for your money back. Eskin boosts water pressure up to 2.5 times, and 92% of people say their skin and hair improved within weeks of switching. So head to Eskin.com and make the switch to the best filtered shower head in the world.
Pure snow, it would be much better.
That's 8 Sleep, a mattress cover that keeps your temperature just right, cooling you down, warming you up, so your body can truly rest. And if you share your bed, no more compromises. 2 climates, 1 good night. As your body shifts, 8 Sleep automatically adapts, fine-tuning your temperature for deeper, uninterrupted rest. Wake up feeling calm, clear, and ready. With 8 Sleep.
It can be hard when the ones who care for you need care. So whether it's a caregiver at home or support at a senior living community, the newcare.com makes it easier to find the right fit. Join now and find care at care.com.
Bacon, salmon, ground beef, ribeye, ranchers.
Good Ranchers delivers the best meat and seafood America has to offer. We ship straight to your door from real farms and ranches right here in the USA. So whether it's beef, chicken, pork, or seafood, you know it's good to eat.
You might love pizza, sweets, and a drink or two. Unfortunately, your liver doesn't. Exhaustion, bloating, and feeling sluggish are warning signs your liver needs love. Active Liver by New Nordic provides an easy daily detox to help keep your liver healthy. Active Liver uses safe, natural ingredients like turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke to cleanse and protect your liver, helping you feel more energized and enjoy the good things in life. Because when your liver is happy, your body's happy. Shop Active Liver online or at select retailers.
Weather is part of the American story. Under stormy skies, down snowbanks, even at Little League. From the first heat wave to the first frost, Fox Weather is there for you when the storm breaks.
Just wreaking havoc here.
And after it passes,
There is a lot of work to get done, but there's hope to move forward.
we're with you every step of the way.
I'm going to go see if I can help us. So yeah.
For all seasons, for all America, Fox Weather.
We're literally being poisoned by what we put into our bodies on a daily basis. I'm Jillian Michaels, and this is Toxic.
Yeah, Waffle House is closed.
Fox Weather is your winter storm HQ. We have a historic and sprawling winter storm that is working its way across our country. And the scope is truly immense. I mean, we're talking New Mexico and Arizona all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. And it's bringing in snow and ice, severe thunderstorms. Everything is included from the southern plains all the way to New England. So when it comes to the snowy side of this, it's not just snow. We do have big concerns when it comes to freezing rain and the ice storm that is unleashing itself across the south. Thanks for staying with us. It is shortly after 1:30 here on the East Coast. Welcome to our special coverage of the winter one.
And I'm Mike Emanuel. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to special coverage on Fox News Channel, Fox Business, and Fox Weather. We are combining our resources to bring you every story of this massive storm from Texas all the way up the East Coast.
Why have one network when you can get 3 networks? So we're here to keep you and your family safe. That's truly what our mission is here at Fox Weather. And we're so appreciative of our partners at Fox Business Network and Fox News Channel to allow us to broadcast tonight to do just that. So here's the status report. We kind of like to start at the top of the hour.
Sound
the mid
alerts.
part with this status report.
Type
So you know
commands
what's
for
going
different
on.
commands.
The top snow total is 13 inches. That's going to be a drop and a half by the time we get the snow into the northeast. We're looking for bigger numbers than that. But I really want to call your attention to the power outages. We checked in 15 minutes ago, and we were at 170-ish thousand customers. We're at 187,000 customers. So unfortunately, that's kind of going in the wrong direction. Let's get you outside. We'll give you a live look at Washington, D.C., where Mike came up from. We appreciate you so much. That's kind of a cool look at the Capitol with the lights going right into the snow.
That's the prettiest part of the story.
Yes, if we can at least find a glimmer here, we're going to go for it.
Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff is in our nation's capital as the snow has crept in. Alex, what's the latest there?
Yeah, we've seen rapid accumulation over the past 2 hours, and you guys were just talking about the Capitol. You know, during snow events, it's a popular sledding spot. Power outages as well. I mean, that is what people are really thinking about. You have this heavy, dense snow ice kind of combination leading to snapped trees down power lines, and people with really significant mobility issues at that point. This is a commuter-heavy area. People rely on mass transit at a certain point. When it gets to about 8 inches of snow or below a certain temperature for a prolonged period of time, mass transit ceases to exist here. It's a very practical issue. I mean, someone like myself, I live in Virginia. There you take the bridge or you take the metro. That is above ground, unlike it is in other cities. So if that's not running, you can't go over the bridge because that would be for anything else. I mean, you're stuck. So people here, when you were able to do so yesterday with some sunshine, make it through the entire day of preparations. They're doing so not just for what they're going to be seeing later today as this builds up, not even tomorrow, but people are trying to prep for the week ahead, because if you are isolated inside of your home and it is 18 degrees outside, less with the wind chill, I mean, that is a serious issue. The mayor here, she has reached out to the National Guard for
Trey at 3000 and 3017 for 63 temperature.
DC infrastructure, it's really not set up for extreme weather like this. You even think about the architecture here. You have a lot of these flat roofs that was designed to give a nod to history, to be very aesthetic. If you look back 100 years, 1922, there was a deadly ice storm. Almost 100 people died because a roof had collapsed due to the weight of ice. So this is not a storm that people should be taking lightly. I don't think people are here in this area. You have a lot of transplants from out of town, from places where it doesn't get this cold. And I think they have heeded the warnings, especially from what we've seen from some of the shopping videos on social media, people clearing out the shelves. People are preparing for several days, hunkered down here, hoping to ride this out safely and with power if possible.
Well, Alex, I know our children are probably hoping for a snow day or two, but if the conditions are bone-chilling cold, they may not want to go outside, right?
No, I mean, I have a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old. They are going to be bugging my husband all day tomorrow, but it's too dangerous. You can't let a 1-year-old out in that.
No, and so you have to resort to other things. As another mom, one thing that I used to do with our boys when we lived on the UP in Michigan was indoor bowling with toilet paper rolls. Let me tell you, they go for it every time. So text your husband to get every toilet paper roll, because let's be honest, we all know what we did. We all went to the grocery store and we bought too much toilet paper that we didn't need. Start bowling in your hallway.
That sounds like fun. All right.
Love that. We'll try to do it before the blue. Yeah.
Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff there in our nation's capital. Alex, great to see you. Thanks very much.
That was 6 minutes.
This is a sprawling weather system with more than 40 states feeling the impact of snow, ice, and dangerous cold. Britta, where are we seeing problems that are getting your attention this hour?
Definitely the second wave of the ice. So for folks who live across the South, there was great insight into the forecast here that it would be a 1-2 punch. And I think that's something that we're really blessed with in this situation, is that we had really great data pumped into our computer models because the hurricane hunters. They flew multiple spots in the atmosphere kind of surrounding this system, and that raw data gave the computer models reality to latch onto. So it's not all the time as meteorologists and forecasters that we get to have a suite of computer models that are giving us good output, and it's because we have good input. So a big nod to the hurricane hunters that went out and did that. But right now at this hour, we're starting to see that second wave, and that build-in is playing out exactly how the computer models were calling it to. And so now we're going to start to see the ice accretion really get out of hand. And in northern parts of Louisiana, our latest observations came in around 3/4 of an inch, but now we're truly in the overnight. And we are going to wake up tomorrow morning with multiple spots between Louisiana and Mississippi exceeding an inch of ice. I mean, when you think about an inch of ice, that's about that much. That's a huge amount of weight. We're going to have power lines that can't hold on to that weight, and they usually just snap. but also we have tree limbs that can snap and fall on top of the lines that are still holding their weight. Because of that, we have to be very concerned with those ice accretions because, of course, it's all about keeping the power on. And without the power, it needs to get a little sketchy.
Since I don't have a scientific background, can I say accumulation instead of accretion?
Yes, go for it. Full permission on that one.
All right, I feel good about that.
So let's take you to a state where the ice accretion or accumulation is a large concern. We're going to take you to North Carolina. North Carolina is one of these spots that we're just getting into it. It's starting to really grab onto reality. We've done our preps. We have our own Chelsea Torres. She's out in Charlotte at this hour. Chelsea, we're going to bring you into the conversation. I've been talking to my family that lives outside of Charlotte. They were just sort of saying all evening, we're waiting for it. Is it coming? It's coming. Like, yeah, it's coming. So how are things looking now that we're around 1:30 in the morning Charlotte time?
Sure. I mean, I think people all day have been wondering that too. Been seeing people go out to the grocery stores, all the department stores, trying to get their last bit of preps before they know that they have to hunker down through the night. But I'll tell you, a lot of the city officials have also been saying that this could be one of the most impactful winter storms that they've seen in years. As of right now, it's definitely frigid. We're having some precipitation come down, and it really just kind of looks like a mist, but it is putting a very thin layer of ice around on everything. But they tell you should not be on the roads, and a lot of people have really been heeding these warnings. Actually, we have a couple people that came from Florida. 6 hours they drove here, Cassandra and Brandon, and they came all the way up. They're supposed to go to New York.
700
the return flight got canceled. If you don't know right now, FlightAware is showing Charlotte Douglas is up the top right now for cancellation. Guys, you guys just drove up here. You're from Florida, so I'm sure you're probably not used to this frigid cold, but how are you thinking about what's happening right now?
It's insane, actually.
Yeah, it's definitely not what I'm used to.
No, we were so excited to go to New York, but they're getting like even worse. Like, so this is like the medium, not being in the heat, but then like being just like, I guess like I don't know.
And I saw you guys out here because they were sliding, trying to kind of slide a little bit on the sidewalk and having fun with it. How are you feeling right now? How cold is it to you?
It's pretty cool. There's not really much else to say. It's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, it's freezing. My cheeks are like so cold, but like just, I guess standing here is making me feel a little warmer. I'm gonna tell myself that.
And did you guys expect it to be what it is right now? Are you expecting it to be worse? What have you heard so far?
Actually, we were expecting it to be a little worse. I thought it was gonna be like full on like just snowing, but just ice is like just as bad as it just snowing. It's freezing. So
yeah, I agree.
And guys, I hope you guys stay safe, stay warm, have fun, but good thing you guys are not on the roads. They actually just got in town for it like a few hours ago, so they definitely did exactly what they should have been doing by getting here as early as possible. Even Cassandra's mom is up here, kind of making sure that they're doing good. But I'll tell you guys what we're doing, and thank you guys so much for even being here, and enjoy your time in Charlotte for what it is, right? But again, you can see some of this precipitation coming down right now, but again, it really is just adding just a very thin layer of ice on the sidewalk. What we have seen is a lot of crews kind of going by, salt trucks mainly. We did see police go by. We're right here in the downtown area, right next to the NASCAR Hall of Fame. So guys, we'll keep you updated on exactly what we see, and if we see some more ice, especially accumulating on the tree limbs and even power lines, if that starts to happen. As of right now, there's just a few power outages in the county, just over 300, so we'll definitely keep an eye on that.
Chelsea, so funny that you mentioned their mom, because as you were having a conversation with them, that's the first thing I thought of. It was like, if their mom saw them, she'd be so upset. So we'll let them work that out off camera, but a few more layers are required.
Go home and bundle up.
Right? Chelsea, before we let you go, I did want to ask you about the other side of the state. You have done amazing work on all three of the networks that are airing our coverage right now in regards to Colleen and Western North Carolina. They're obviously going to be impacted by this in a different way. Through your contacts and the extensive work that you have done covering the recovery efforts in Western North Carolina, what have you heard out in the mountains?
Yeah, I know that as of right now, people are just doing everything they can to prep, and I think they're a little bit more prepared when it comes to being out in the mountains because they get the snow pretty regularly. They have all of their crews out there. Even just months ago, I was up in Boone, and they had quite a bit of snow, so clouds were already going through. So they're definitely more prepared when it comes to that. But, you know, I mentioned earlier how even propane was kind of running out and running low, and in a lot of these mountain areas, in these rural towns, a lot of people And so right after Helene, a lot of that infrastructure was completely gone, and they really relied on that mainly from nonprofits, from communities that were able to bring that to them for a lot of
Sound
those people that
alerts.
could not go out and drive
Type
further
commands
to
for
try to
different
find
commands.
that. So that's kind of one thing that a lot of people are looking at is if these power outages happen, what can happen, how will they be able to heat their homes and stay safe. But I'll tell you, I learned a lot last year covering people that were out here in the mountains right before the big winter spells came. They were telling me use hay bales around their mobile homes, around their tents to keep insulation. Even one girl, she was young 20s, she was living in a tent at the time. She said put two tents together, one tent inside the other one, and that'll help kind of keep it insulated in the warm. Fortunately, right now, a lot of those people are in some type of temporary housing or full-time home, but again, it just kind of goes to show they're very resilient and they know what to do, especially when they don't have a lot of those resources.
We will hope and pray for the best. Fox News multimedia reporter Chelsea Torres, thank you very much. Here's the latest information coming into our newsroom. Dangerous travel conditions right now across Texas. Roads are coated with sleet and ice, and the slick roads will stay until well after the sun comes up, possibly even tomorrow and the day after that. The storm is really slamming the south. 1,300-mile stretch of freezing rain reports coming in from Austin to Raleigh on Saturday. We're also closely monitoring central Texas and western Louisiana right now. There is a growing risk for more freezing rain to leave a cold ice on several cities north of I-10, including Austin, Killeen, and Lufkin. And on top of that, more than 175,000 power outages have now been reported across the U.S. with bone-chilling temperatures. More than 70,000 of those power losses in Louisiana. We are getting in tons of new images from you at home. This one is from Anthony in Jeffersonville, Indiana. That image there, seeing the snow coming down and coating on the cars and coating on the roadways. We also have one from Keegan in Canyon Lake, Texas. You can see not much sticking there so far, but it was very early in the process. And one more from Dana in Farmville, Virginia.
No donuts are happening.
Thank you for sending your videos. Keep them coming. You can see some accumulation there, and that's how you can share it. You see it, share it with Fox Weather.
You just
scan the QR code. Visit us online at foxweather.com.
Yeah, that seems loud.
Send us your weather photos and videos. Fox Weather is 24/7 live throughout this storm, making sure you have information to stay safe through the ice and snow. And even if you lose power, you can always watch us in the
This is all sleep you're seeing right here.
It is free to download wherever you get your apps. We will be right back after a short sleep.
Weather is part of the American story. From the first heat wave to the first frost, Fox Weather is there for you.
I'm going to go see if I can help you say yes.
For all seasons, for all America, Fox Weather.
Reba here, back to tell you about Realtor.com. With over 500,000 new listings a month, you can find your dream home today. Well, in that case. So work with number one and make it real with Realtor.com.
They say time is money. But if you know what? Gusto saves you 2 days every month on payroll, taxes, and compliance. So you can go from making it work to making singles, filing taxes to relax, compliance regulations to family celebrations. The other guys charge alcohol. They might even charge you to switch. But us, Gusto saves you money. Choose a future with Gusto and get more time for that matters. Get started for free. Gusto.com.
As much as we appreciate what our mechanics can do and who they are, no one looks forward to seeing the inside of an auto shop. Because if we're here, the car is too. And that means something's wrong. And likely it means an expensive repair bill. That is, unless you call CarShield. When you call CarShield before your car breaks down, they have plans that cover up to 5,000 parts and systems of your car. Don't wait. Call CarShield today before it's too late.
The wipers sound like a scary sci-fi movie. Enjoy the... Sci-fi movie. Oh my god, this is... I don't think I've ever heard a single storm chaser tonight anywhere.
I've been watching have some decent sounding lighter blades.
What's up? What's up?
There are thousands of pictures on your phone, but some just hold a special place in you. Get your memories off your phone and...
And number 2?
I started paying attention to that college when I saw how many pictures it's like too. I'm a mom, I'm an executive, I'm a sideline too. AG1 supports my gut health by making sure I get prebiotics, probiotics, and those digestive enzymes right. So people rely on me. The kids rely on me. My team at work relies on me. And having balanced gut health really leads me to help balance the rest of my life.
Watch out, take where sports and culture meet to take on hot topics like no one else does.
If you were 5'10", what would you be doing?
I'll be saying, hey, welcome to McDonald's.
Both voices and match victories is nothing off the table. Watch out, take sports and culture don't like that.
More than 195 million Americans are under winter storm alerts as this massive winter storm bears down on most of the country. That is a live look at West Plains, Missouri, where it's hard to tell whether the precipitation is sticking, but if I'm listening to my partner here, Britta, it's probably the big concern, the ice. Welcome back to our special coverage on Fox News, Fox Weather, and Fox Business. I'm Mike Emanuel. As the storm bears down on more than 40 states, we'll see a number of snow and ice reports coming to the newsroom. My colleague Britta Merwin is in weather command with those reports. Britta?
Yes, and it is the ice that we're really concerned about. Of course, a huge snow belt, but when you look at concerns with power outages, it is much easier to keep the power on if you're just dealing with snow. Let's give you a wide shot of the storm. It's truly huge. I mean, we're talking about still picking up on snow across parts of Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado. That's the backside of the storm. But it goes all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. We're stretching about 2,000 miles here at this point. As you take a look at the southern part of this, we are starting to see a lot of lightning. We were anticipating a big component here with an upper level jet. I know that sounds very fancy, but all it really comes down to is powerful winds that are way up above the ground. And when those winds start to really skyrocket, you get some impressive weather. I always say if you got a jet above, party upstairs, it gets crazy downstairs. And unfortunately, when that comes in the form of weather, we start to pick up on the lightning, which represents the intensity of what's going on in the atmosphere. It is coming in a frozen version, though. So we have lightning,
right here, guys. Look.
We have lightning, freezing rain, and ice that is starting to stack up. San Antonio, the last couple hours, has been reporting some light freezing rain. Make sure that you look out for those overpasses. There's been a lot of communication in Texas about staying off the road. Certainly recommend that, as right now we have just about 1/10 of an inch being reported on the roadways across San Antonio.
Wait, did somebody ask?
When the early chapters of this big storm, we'll have it covered.
And as we have it covered, let's head to the northeast. This is a part of our country that is still kind of bracing for the storm to start. I gotta tell you, we're based in the Northeast. We're based in New York City, so all of us as see people go out to the grocery store.
I have a GoFundMe.
As we wake up tomorrow morning, it is here.
I do have donation links in the chat or down in the description. I do accept Cash App and PayPal donations. I don't ever ask for them, but they are welcome. Not monetized on YouTube either.
Keeping you and your family safe during the storm.
So I can't earn money through ad revenue, super chats, or any of that crap. So
we are really going to pump some huge numbers out of New England. Really looks like that's going to be the focus because that's where we stay with all the cold air. You'll notice south of New York, if you've been watching this forecast evolve here on Fox Weather, we've been lowering those snow totals still significantly. Parts of Delaware and South Jersey could still see over 6 inches of snow. But the reason why the overall forecast in those areas have come down over the last couple of days is because of the influence from the Atlantic. It now appears that this area of low pressure is going to be so close to the coast that we're going to be fighting that influence from the Atlantic. Water temperatures right now in the 40s, and that's going to ride over that Arctic cold air. Looking at New York City, the surrounding areas, an easy 8 to 12 inches as you go off towards northwest Jersey, lower Hudson Valley. Then you have elevation at play. You also have the colder air with the positioning of the low. So in those locations, you are going to see well over a foot of snow. Let's talk about New York and the timing. As we wake up tomorrow morning, it's here. Temperatures are in the teens. It is cold, it is blustery. We're going to have a big chunk of snow that continues through about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the bulk of the accumulation. As we get into dinner time, 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow, we start to work in that influence from the Atlantic. It's 20 degrees, so it's cold at the surface, but we have warm air aloft, and that allows for that changeover to an icy mix.
Wrap it up.
Really important for folks that live in Jersey,
Next 10
on
minutes.
Long Island, New York
2 o'clock
City,
in the morning,
all
and we'll probably wrap it up.
Try and get some of the snow off of your front yard, off of your driveway, the sidewalks, by about 2 o'clock.
Y'all have any questions for me?
Because if you are in these areas where we're going to cross over to freezing rain, it's going to encase itself like an igloo. So think about the Jersey Shore. Think about Long Island. These are places where you really need to do a little bit of hard work before you cross over to freezing rain. Everything ends by Monday
I will be
morning.
live tomorrow.
Schools are going to be closed,
Well,
folks.
it is tomorrow.
Guarantee it.
I'll be live.
Get ready for the long haul. I think all of us kind of assume that, but looking at the forecast, verifying, we're going to be in that type of a setup. 15 degrees.
Any of my socials?
That's all we get in New York City by Monday afternoon.
Any of my socials, the links are in
Everything that
the
is on the
description.
ground is going to stay on the ground. It's going
Keep
to have
everybody
to be
updated.
removed. So when you look
Sound
at the road
alerts.
conditions, it might take all of Monday
Type
to plow
commands
everything
for
out,
different
to get the salt
commands.
down, to get the ice
They're
off
there.
some of these roads.
Also,
We're
I have a
anticipating
live stream
less than a
scheduled.
tenth of an inch of ice,
One that I'm-
but in a place like New York City, that is enough to cause some big-time issues. So please, make sure that you're incredibly safe as we take a look at these big impacts of snow and ice reaching into big metropolitan areas in the Northeast. Well, this massive winter storm, it also is going to bring severe weather if we didn't have enough to track, right? And in the deep south, this is a huge threat, especially as we go into tomorrow. So this southerly component of this winter storm, that's where we're working with all that Gulf moisture, and because we do have a very vigorous jet, that's a fast-moving column of air way up by where the airplanes fly, it's going to combine into all the ingredients that we look out for when it comes to severe weather potential. And this, unfortunately, is going to lead to the threat for tornadoes. There's so much twist in the atmosphere, that's really the top thing that we're concerned about. So for Sunday, we have a level 2 out of 5. Heads up here that severe weather is possible. Our concern is that you start to get a lot of moisture coming in off the Gulf. That flow brings in these showers and these thunderstorms. They interact and they start to turn, and any rotating thunderstorm can lead to an isolated tornado. So again, I don't think we're going to see widespread severe weather reports, but definitely we have the concern here where we could see several tornadoes pop up. Here's a look at the fast winds aloft. Again, that is what these thunderstorms that are building vertically are exposed to. That's how you start to get them to twist and turn. In addition to that, you can have strong straight line winds. And if you have a wind gust of 95 miles per hour, it doesn't matter what direction it's coming from or if it's twisting or turning, it's going to cause damage. And along this powerful line of thunderstorms that will
early morning hours, like right now, and in the next several hours, there's going to be
because these thunderstorms
mixture of rain
vertically,
and
Mike,
sleet,
they
or
can
not
grab
rain,
onto those strong winds aloft, they throw them down to the ground, and that's how you get that strong straight line wind.
sleet
So
and light snow.
multiple threats here that you have to think about.
But
It's amazing. After working in Texas, I think the
transition
severe
again
weather season is when the
by
tornadoes
sunrise.
start. But we're talking about severe weather season here with the Arctic cold.
Yeah, I mean, really, you can have everything locked up into these winter storms. So the timeline, it's taking us all the way through the afternoon and the evening. Once
all right, guys,
cold front
phone
goes
batteries
through,
are low.
your severe weather threat does drop. So it's a short window here, but you want to make sure you pay attention to it. Also a good idea, in your safe spot, put coats, shoes, and flashlights. Once these thunderstorms roll through, it's cold. When they leave, you got to make sure you bundle up the kiddos if you have to head out.
Great advice. You're watching special coverage of this massive winter storm as Fox News Channel, Fox Business Network, and Fox Weather provide our resources and expertise to keep you and your family safe. Thanks to our viewers across all 3 networks for joining us.
I guess sleep and get up and again. So,
on 48-hour shifts, calls don't really care if you're eating, if you're trying to sleep, or if you're working out.
Entire meal. That's slow. What you need is the Ceramac.
On 48-hour shifts, calls don't really care if you're eating, if you're trying to sleep, or if you're working out.
Anybody else who has my permission to come out and feed? Shout out to them as well.
And now, the biggest change I've noticed is having maintained energy levels. I feel good in the morning.
Big shout out to the
I've been in the fire service for over 20
Great
years.
job.
And without the
Y'all did
resiliency
an
and
awesome job.
having well-established routines,
Seriously.
I don't think I would have made it this far.
Here's a little ballad about a man who mastered body odor. Instead of using hand up, the right tool for the job. After Alaska,
Imagine if I had to drive. Imagine if I didn't have any mods.
he became a victim of his own smell. Mando gets to the bottom of the problem, stopping the bacteria that causes BO, saving him from a lifetime of storm. Don't mask it. Mando it.
She taught you how to shave your legs, how to drive stick shift, and how to stand up for yourself. But now you're learning this next thing together. We get it. Find a caregiver who does too. When it's not you, it's care.com.
As much as we appreciate what our mechanics can do and who they are, no one looks forward to seeing the inside of an auto shop. Because if you're here, the car is too. And that means something's wrong. And likely, it means an expensive repair bill. That is, unless you call CarShield. When you call CarShield before your car breaks down, they have plans that cover up to 5,000 parts and systems of your car. Don't wait. Call CarShield today, before it's too late.
Call 800-369-9526. You're told to optimize, to happen. Every January, you. What if you had to make this mistake? Your biology knows how to thrive. It just needs a lot. Armor Colostrum reawakens to that purpose. 400 nutrients, 4 seconds, 1 daily revival. This year, remember what you're made of.
When we became parents, everything changed, especially our perspective on food.
On our path to find healthier products, we started Good Ranchers.
To connect families with 100% American-born, raised, and harvested meats.
Quality beef, pork, chicken, and wild-caught seafood delivered to your door.
Because we want the best for our family and yours when gathering at the dinner table. Visit GoodRanchers.com and discover American meat delivery.
Ice, sleet, and freezing rain that really takes us from the southwest all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. So we have Americans that are facing some dangerous conditions right on their doorstep. I'm Bruna Murray.
You got them covered. I'm Mike Emanuel in from Washington. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to special coverage on Fox News Channel, Fox Business Network, and of course Fox Weather. We are combining our massive resources to bring you every aspect of this massive storm from Texas all the way up the East Coast.
And we cannot overstate the magnitude of the system. I mean, when you just look at the physical footprint, we haven't seen a storm physically this large in a long time. And that's translating to big-time numbers. I mean, we got 195 million Americans that are under some type of winter weather alert. And the physical span of the storm is 2,300 miles, covering 40 states.
And as you've been talking about, the nature of the different aspects of weather, it's really fascinating.
Yeah, you're going to come away from this with a minor in meteorology, Mike. We definitely appreciate having you here. I mean, this is your stomping grounds, D.C. I have to say the Capitol does look very pretty, but from an inside perspective, I don't think I'd want to be out in it.
Exactly right. Well, our friend is out there in it. Snowflakes are beginning to fall. The city is expecting this to be one of the biggest snowstorms in years. And our intrepid Alexandria Hoff is in our nation's capital with the snow. And Alex, what's the latest at this hour?
Well, first of all, I certainly do not have a degree, but my face is freezing out. But I have covered my fair share of storms. This one does feel a bit different. You can see that the snowfall is continuing. There are these very fine flakes, and Britta, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's an indication of just how cold it is outside. And D.C., the region actually includes Maryland, Northern Virginia. You know, it's equipped for harsh weather, but really not extreme weather, and the kind of ice accumulation that a lot of people are really most fearful of in this storm. The salt trucks, they were out yesterday, putting that salt down with the brine, doing the best they can to try and cut down on just how slick these roadways are going to be. Of course, no one is advised to be out on them, and there's really only so much you can do. You know, the ice, that can't be overstated. You guys were talking about the magnitude of this, but in a region like this, you have so many above ground power lines, and a branch comes crashing down, and there goes your power. That becomes a very serious situation very quickly when temperature temperatures are in the teens. Now, Mayor Muriel Bowser, she requested support from the National Guard and helping some get some of their high clearance vehicles out to be present during this storm to help first responders get to where they need to go during this. And in speaking with some people who were passing through D.C. yesterday, there is a lot of concern for people who have to be out in this weather or don't have another choice. Listen.
People who need to work, I pray for, because there's especially our service workers, firemen, ambulance, doctors. We're going to need them definitely in this time.
I am worried though about the homeless people here and being unhoused, and I really hope that they can find a safe place somewhere warm tonight. And
yeah, luckily I have not seen any individuals who appear to have no other option than out in the street at this time. It would be very, very hard to be out here for more than just a couple of minutes at a time. And you know, when it comes to how much snowfall this region gets in a given year, it's usually about a foot for the entire season. We've already had a little bit this year, but for these events that will get close to that in just one single session here, that comes about once every decade, which makes sense because back in 2016, there was a pretty incredible storm. 20 plus inches came down, but that led to a paralysis of much of the greater DC region for several days. Federal, local officials, they are hoping that that is not the case this time. Of course, the temperatures are not rising at any time soon. Britta, Mike.
And that's the scary thing, is that we probably won't face the same type of accumulation that we saw in 2016, but that's because we're going to have ice mix in. I mean, we're seeing snow right now, but by the time we get through tomorrow, eventually DC is going to have some sort of sleet and freezing rain mixing in, which brings in a whole nother flavor of danger as we go into tomorrow. I did want to ask you, Alex, I mean, you guys are so great at what you do. I don't think people at home realize how hard it is to even speak when it's cold. But you give our viewers a little bit of perspective of what it feels like to your body to be exposed to
Sound
temperatures in
alert.
the teens, because it is
Type
that
commands
benchmark
for
where
different
it just really
commands.
gets uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, I mean, it doesn't take more than 3 or 4 minutes, and you can have gloves, you get the top of the line, the ones lined on the inside, waterproof, but there's really not much you can do to stop that redness, that numbness in your fingertips. Your face after a certain point becomes numb, and as we were talking about last hour, kids will want to get outside of this. This is simply not safe for that to happen. I was talking just a couple minutes ago. I had done a series of cold weather, snow coverage events over the course of a pretty short amount of time a couple of years ago. My eyes were severely damaged by that just because of the abrasiveness of this kind of weather. So it's serious.
All right, Alex, go inside, get a cup of tea. We appreciate your reporting, doing a great job as always.
Yeah, it's important for people to think about that. You know, we're out there telling the stories so you guys can see it. But if you're exposed to it for too long, I mean, our reporters are pros, and they go in with a lot of thought behind this. So make sure that you're reducing that time outside.
This is a sprawling system. More than 40 states are feeling the impacts of snow, ice, dangerous cold. Britta, what's concerning you this hour?
I think really the second punch of ice that is coming for the southern states. We're starting to see the freezing rain and the ice line get farther down to the south of the Lone Star State. This is Denton, up in the Metroplex, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Great shot from Texas women, so it gives you that elevated look. But look at the roads right here. They are completely covered in snow. You don't see that too often in Texas. So that's your indicator that you can't be out there. You're going to start slipping and sliding and all of that. But there's been a lot of good communication in the Lone Star State to stay off the roads. And from this shot, you can tell that you don't see one single soul out there. It's about midnight Central Time, so we typically would start to see more folks that are out there. So nice to see that nobody's out there. Austin, you guys are reporting freezing rain. We have thunder with freezing rain in Shreveport right now, 21 degrees. And we're starting to notice more lightning pop up in the southern part of this winter storm. That's a true indicator of the instability and also the power to this. All day we've been talking about this low-level jet. If you're watching Ian Oliver and Kiana Lewis, they were the shift before Mike and I took the baton. They were doing a great job talking about where this was going to go, and now we're starting to see it in real time. And when you see features like lightning pop up, it means that you're really starting to crank all the energy out of the atmosphere. You get more impressive accumulation of whatever's falling, so the freezing rain coming down at a quicker rate. The snow here's the power outage numbers. Big struggles for East Texas, North Louisiana, Mississippi. On the good side of this, we haven't seen more states go down, but unfortunately, the numbers are growing in these locations. We had a lot of concern for central Mississippi and northern Louisiana and East Texas ahead of this, and now we're starting to see the numbers spike. Between 11 p.m. and midnight in Mississippi, we almost doubled our numbers. And Mike, these are areas that are rural. Sure, you get into Oxford, a little more people because we have the university there, but these are locations where the power is going to go out. It's going to be really tough to get it back on. And it's going to stay cold all the way through the middle part of next week in Mississippi. As we zoom on into Memphis, we also have that critical division there. Snow off to the northwest. We have sleet and ice down to the south. That stretch on Interstate 55, I won't even touch it. I mean, you really just got to hunker down. Let's move up to the north. Mike, you see the white just north of Paducah? Yep. Intense.
In places where people aren't necessarily used to major snow accumulation, certainly not ice.
No, for sure. St. Louis, we're getting snow reports from St. Louis, over 5 inches of snow. So when you see these signatures on radar, it's translating to big time numbers.
You mentioned Oxford, there's a look at it.
Yeah, you can barely see anything because of the ice on the lens. In some of these shots, though, we can see, the conditions on the road, and they are just covered in ice. We have our Brandy Campbell in Oxford. Her shot already came down for the day. We're allowing her crew to get some very important rest working these long hours. But she comes up tomorrow. I think we're going to see a really scary reality for Oxford, where we could see over an inch of ice that has formed across northwest portions of Mississippi. Looking at the wide stretch here, the ice belt, I'm just sort of circle it right here for you guys so you can get an idea of it. I mean, what a difference. You're at 27 degrees in Nashville, 44 degrees in Huntsville. So that warm air is quite literally riding over that cold air. And when we're going through the overnight hours, you don't think about the temperatures increasing. I mean, it's counterintuitive, right? You're like, no, it's nighttime. It should be the coldest time of the day. But we have this extreme jet that I was talking about. Those are fast moving winds way up above the ground, and it's so extreme that it's really picking up all of this warm, moist air from the Gulf, and it's just shoving it right into the gut of this storm. And that's what's creating that critical vertical profile, allowing for that nasty ice accumulation. Now, for Huntsville, you guys are on the positive side of this story. Seeing you at 44, you guys are going to do really well tonight. I mean, I really think we're going to be able to keep most of North Alabama on the rain side. Unfortunately, you can't take it away. Someone's going to be on the bad side of it, and that means that Middle Tennessee is going to have to deal with ice accumulation.
Fascinating. We will be tracking it every hour because this is the early phase of the storm.
We're really just beginning for many ice spots.
We're here tomorrow night. It'll be a totally different story. The latest headlines from Fox Weather. Travel conditions are very dangerous across Texas. It's coated with sleet and ice right now. And that's a live look at Dallas. That's after more than 100 crashes were reported in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex on Saturday. Roads will stay slick until well after the sun comes up, possibly even all day tomorrow. But it's the Northeast where we're seeing the most flight disruptions. According to FlightAware, more than 6,500 flights into and out of the Northeast were canceled today. That's more than 70% of all flights canceled in the U.S. And just in, freezing rain reaches Columbia, South Carolina, and snow teams have been deployed in our nation's capital. Plowing the roads, Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser is asking folks to only travel if absolutely necessary and give trucks treating the roads plenty of space. This storm is just getting started. Major East Coast cities are staring down the prospect of the biggest snowstorm in years. More than a foot of snow in the forecast across the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Who's in the snow zone?
And before we head to break, let's touch on travel across our country. The cancellations over 9,500. States of Texas and Louisiana, those power outage numbers continue to climb. In fact, we just surpassed 200,000 customers in our country without power, most of them from Texas, Mississippi, and Louisiana. So the numbers are going in the wrong direction, my friends, but we're here to get you through. If you're lucky enough to still have power across the South, make sure you download the Fox Weather app. It is completely free.
too much for cable TV when it costs less for Fubo. Get all the channels you want. Live coverage of your favorite teams. More sports and live TV for the whole family. Plus, watch multiple games at once with Multiview. Start watching at FuboTV.com.
You might love pizza, sweets, and a drink or two. Unfortunately, your liver doesn't. Exhaustion, bloating, and feeling sluggish are warning signs your liver needs love. Active Liver by New Nordic provides an easy daily detox to help keep your liver healthy. Active Liver uses safe, natural ingredients like turmeric, milk thistle, and clove artichoke to cleanse and protect your liver, helping you feel more energized to enjoy the good things in life. Because when your liver is happy, your body's happy. Shop Active Liver online or at select retailers.
There are thousands of pictures on your phone, but some just hold a special place in there. Like when two Charlies hung out. The epic ladies trip. Your first family portrait. When the Fireflies went undefeated. Or when brothers met for the first time. Get your memories off your phone and onto a mug, a wall, or in a photo book. If it means something, make it something. Use code PICFREE to get free shipping on top of site-wide deals at Shopify.com.
I started paying attention to that when I saw how much people rely on it. Because rely on me to work as a week. And having balanced that power really leads me to help balance the rest of my life.
Attention all students. Now you can stream shows on the service that celebrates America for 1 year absolutely free.
In a world that doesn't want us to think, we will think.
Students get 1 year of Fox Nation free. Claim your offer now. Hurry, the legend grows. One page at a time. He's got the ball right now. Next up, the biggest names in the world in Florida. Florida 5 is streaming now. And Fox Nation is its home.
How to drive stick shift.
Sound alerts.
And how to stand up for
Type.
yourself.
Commands for different commands.
And now you're learning this next thing together. We get it. Find a caregiver who does too. When it's not you, it's care.com.
This hour, power outages across the country have surpassed 200,000. Mississippi's power outages doubled, and Tennessee has now surpassed 10,000 power outages. It is also dangerously cold. That is a live look at Roanoke, Virginia, where presumably ice is a factor and some snow accumulation. We will track it in the hours ahead. Welcome back to our special coverage on Fox News, Fox Weather, and Fox Business. I'm Mike Emanuel. As the storm bears down on more than 40 states, we're seeing a number of snow and ice reports come into the newsroom. Fox Weather meteorologist Porter Merwin is in Weather Command with those reports.
Yeah, and we're definitely seeing a concern when it comes to Middle Tennessee. The amount of snow and ice is starting to lead to power outages, especially southeast of Nashville. So we have 30% of White County in Tennessee reporting power loss. Those numbers are continuing to trend up. And keep in mind, temperatures are brutally cold, and they're going to stay cold all the way through the beginning of next week. So having the power off this early in the game is a concern, because keep in mind, linemen can't get up and get the infrastructure rebuilt until the snow passes. So the sooner you come offline, the longer you are going to have without power. And with this type of cold, you're really going to have to keep you and your family safe. Good suggestion if you're watching us on your phone, you've lost power, you can't get us on TV anymore, put some blankets over the window. You want to try and insulate and keep in the heat as long as you can. We're seeing some of our power numbers double every hour, so many of you haven't had power loss for that long. You want to try and keep in the heat as long as you can. Let's take a look at Middle Tennessee, some of the accumulations. Freezing rain, we've had 1/10 of an inch, so again, that leads to the ice accretion that's continuing to grow across Middle Tennessee. That report coming in just southeast of Nashville. to the northwest part of the state, moving into Kentucky, that's where you quickly transition to snow. Looking at the ice reports out of Tennessee, Gatlinburg is up to 0.2 of an inch. So again, once we start getting closer to 1/4 of an inch, which is where we're approaching right now, that's when we tend to see the power kick off. And so this is the evidence, right? The evidence marker, the ground truth showing that we're going in the wrong direction from Middle Tennessee.
And news is happening, Britta. We will keep track for all the folks at home and keep them safe.
Well, the dangerous and potentially crippling ice storm, it stretches away from Tennessee. We're very concerned about the Carolinas.
Fox News multimedia reporter Chelsea Torres joins us now from Charlotte. Chelsea, you've seen on and off freezing rain. How's the situation on the ground at this hour?
Well, I have to tell you, I'm a little surprised because I'm actually seeing quite a few more drivers on the road. This is one thing that all city, local, state officials were telling people, do not get on the roads. So you can kind of see right here, we have some cars that are coming by, but you can already tell the roads are getting pretty slick. Of course, there's a lot of the salt that a lot of the crews around here pre-treating the past few days, and they said that what they're going to be doing is they're going to have crews on standby. You can see that car right there has their hazards on. Again, so we're already seeing some precipitation come down. It almost looks like a mist. But when we look at what we have right now, the power outages are also going to be very important. Last I checked, for Duke Energy here in the Carolinas, well over 300 already in the Charlotte area for power outages. And one thing is that the crews, the Charlotte Department of Transportation mentioned that if there is that ice and infrastructure, you could see some power outages which would affect the signals. Here's what he had to say about that.
One of our biggest concerns is that not only that our infrastructure and the ice will combat each other and potentially fail from the weight, but also all the trees that we're dealing with in Key City are going to potentially create issues and take out our signal infrastructure.
Now, Britt and Mike, we have not seen any accumulation of ice yet on either tree limbs, branches. Really, it's just a very thin layer of that ice, almost like a creme brulee type crispy layer on top of the vehicles right now. And on the roadways, we do hear a lot of sirens going off at the moment. So we'll have to kind of see. Really, we're just keeping an eye out to see kind of how this weather progresses here in the Charlotte area. Britt and Mike.
Let's hope the ice stays minimal. Fox News multimedia reporter Chelsea Torres. Thanks very much for the update.
Let's head a little bit farther to the north where Chelsea is. We're giving you a live look at D.C. and New York City. These are areas where, man, the cameras are going to look very different coming up tomorrow. So if you're sort of checking in before you go to bed, take a look at this, and as you wake up, you can do the comparison. Currently on radar, we got snow falling in D.C. So far, Philadelphia not reporting snow. New York City, you're just to the north of the belt. But in Philadelphia, I want to point out, if you're looking at radar, it looks like it's snowing, but it's slowly getting its act together. So when it's this bitterly cold, right now it's 19 degrees in Philadelphia, that air is very dry. So it actually takes a while for the snow to reach the ground. It's actually evaporating. We're waiting for that column of air vertically to moisten up. So you can tell that we have plenty of radar data showing snow, but I guarantee you Philadelphia to the Jersey Shore, nothing's fallen just yet, but it quickly will. So now that we see it on radar, it's just a matter of time before we get enough moisture to reach down to the ground. Let's talk snow totals. New York City is a good divider line. From New York down to the south, across the Jersey Shore, Delaware, Maryland, we're going to have an influence from the Atlantic where we will have lower snow totals because you're going to have ice. I know it's the last thing you guys want to hear. It's the last thing I want to say is ice is not going to be a good thing. North of New York, bigger snow totals because we do not have to deal with the mixing. The only exception is coastal areas in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, down East Maine. You naturally are going to get a little bit of ice, but enough cold air to produce some big-time numbers. So as we take a look at the evolution as we get closer to daylight, we're all going to be dealing with snow, with exception of D.C. to the south. The clouds pockets heading in because people are sleeping in. 21 degrees in D.C., but we're covered in pink. So that's the influence from the Atlantic. There's the area of low pressure. It's tracking directly on the shoreline. And that means that we're opening up to that onshore flow where water temperatures are in the 40s. All of that's getting infused into the center of that area of low pressure, which means that we're going to have the mixing. That's going to allow for the ice formation. As we go into tomorrow night, we start to dry out in Philadelphia down to the south, we're probably going to see a dry slot form at that point. That also can limit your snow totals. Notice north of New York, we don't deal with the dry slot, and we also don't have to deal with the influence from the Atlantic. That's how we're going to end up with possibly 2 feet of snow across parts of northern New England. As we end to Monday night, we're starting to taper off on the snow, but look at these temperatures. 15 degrees in Albany, 20 degrees in Philadelphia, 8 and 6 Pittsburgh and Cleveland. So it's going to get colder behind the storm. We'll get a taste of those single-digit temperatures even on the 95 corridor. Here's a look at the ice portion of this. Again, from New York City down south, we're going to see some ice mixed in. Please be careful. Once you go into Maryland and Virginia, it's a true ice situation, Mike, that there's enough ice where we could be dealing with power outages and really dangerous road conditions.
Good advice, folks, stay home. It is not just snow and ice we are worried about, it is also the bitter cold.
200 million people, by the way, dealing with the cold. So there's a look at the warnings. Again, extreme cold warning. That's kind of that upper echelon, the most extreme warning that we can get from the National Weather Service Office. And look at the stretch. I mean, it's pretty much the entire Lone Star State, all of Oklahoma, all of Arkansas, all of Louisiana, all of Mississippi. I mean, it's insane how many people are really locked up in very extreme temperatures. That cold air, it sticks around all the way through the middle part of next week. I mean, a lot of Texans, they won't wake up to temperatures above freezing until we probably get to Wednesday morning. So if the power goes out, you're going to have to keep you and your family safe and warm in this type of a situation. If you're watching us and you're lucky enough to have power, keep your phone charged. And if you are watching us on the Fox Business Network, on Fox News Channel, folks, we have a free app. Download it because you can watch our coverage even when the power goes out. That's the power of having a streaming weather service as your best friend here. So utilize it. We're here to keep you safe. There's a look at the temperatures. That's the current wind chill. So, Mike, that's another part of this. It's not just the cold air. It's also the fact that it's windy.
We know they've had power grid problems in the great state of Texas, so that's something we'll be tracking throughout the storm.
Yeah, I think a lot of Texans, they rightfully so get very uncomfortable because thinking about 2021. I lived through 2021, so trust me, I get it. That was a demand issue. ERCOT saying that they can deal with the demand, so hopefully we can power on.
The latest information from Fox Weather we just brought you this breaking news a few minutes ago. We have now more than 200,000 power outages across the United States, and now freezing rain has reached the Midlands of South Carolina. 2 separate reports now of freezing rain, blazing surfaces in Columbia, South Carolina, and snow teams have been deployed in our nation's capital, plowing the roads. Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser is asking folks to only travel if absolutely necessary and give those trucks working on the roads plenty of space. We are covering the storm 24/7 all through the weekend. We are Fox, combining our resources between Fox News Channel, Fox Business Network, and Fox Weather to help keep you and your family safe and informed. Thanks to our viewers across all 3 networks for joining us.
We are with you every step of the way.
Sound alert. Type commands for different commands.
Most people have no idea just how filthy you can shower with.
We didn't either until we tested ours and found out it was full of chlorine, heavy metals, and rust from old city water pipes.
These contaminants were directly connected to my eczema and dry skin.
And my hair loss.
So my best friend, sister, and I created Eskin, the best filtered shower head in the world.
It installs in minutes, and if it doesn't deliver the best shower experience you've ever had, it'll give you all your money.
92% of our customers see better skin and hair in just weeks. So head to Eskin.com to filter your shower water with us today.
You could spend all day sorting your employees' expenses. Or would you let Rob? Never chase or receive a bill. Like finance.
Good Ranchers is delivering American-sourced proteins the way it used to be, from farm to family.
Over 30% of the food sold in grocery stores goes to waste, and many of us don't give it a second thought.
Our meat and seafood is individually portioned and vacuum sealed, locking in freshness and flavor.
Allowing you to feed your family with what you need while reducing waste.
Visit GoodRanchers.com to discover American meat.
If your phone doesn't go like it used to, if it's P o'clock, again,
destructive treatment for men 45 and over that simply missed the problem. Ask your urologist about the urine system. Most common side effects are temporary and can include discomfort in urine, urgency, inability to control the urge, pelvic pain, and some bloating. Rare side effects, including bleeding and infection, may lead to a serious outcome and may require intervention. The urine system. Rapid symptom relief.
With a goal of overnight 23,000 feet with all the fear, all the anxiety, and the topic, you look at the sea going and I say,
Everest Journey to the Top of the World, streaming now. Attention all students, now you can stream shows on the service that celebrates America for 1 year absolutely free.
In a world that doesn't want us to think, we will think.
Students get 1 year of Fox Nation 3. Claim your offer now.
Seems fairly widespread rain on the coast.
I was not expecting that. There on scene.
We hold to optimize, to have, every January, and you. What if you were never lived just a hope? Your biology knows you're alive. It just needs a reminder. Armor Colostrum reawakens to that plan. 400 nutrients, 4 seconds, 1 day to revive. This year, remember what you need.
Fox Weather is your winter storm HQ. We have a historic and sprawling winter storm that is working its way across our country. And the scope of this storm is truly immense. I mean, we have snow, we have ice, and it stretches from the southern plains all the way to New England. So let's talk about the snow, the ice, the freezing rain as it really demands our attention. Welcome back to our special coverage here on Fox Weather, Fox Business Network, and also Fox News Channel.
And I'm Mike Emanuel. Thank you for joining us. Great to be working with you. Welcome to our special coverage on Fox News Channel, Fox Business Network, and Fox Weather. We are combining our resources to bring you every aspect of this massive storm from Texas all the way up the East Coast.
So here's the storm by the numbers, where we sit at this hour. We got 13 inches as our top snow total. That's out of the state of New Mexico. Believe it or not, I mean, Mike, by the time we get to Monday afternoon, 13 inches will feel like a small number. I mean, we're going to talk about some big-time snow totals.
Because it probably hasn't even started in New York City, so it's storm is just getting started in some areas.
Yes. Let's take a look at DC. If you're just sitting
sidewalk
So, just a couple minutes ago, we saw a woman out here. She was walking with her dog trying to get to her hotel, I think. She said she'd been driving for 18 hours. She had to get back here for whatever reason. So people do have these kind of circumstances. I do want to point out something rather interesting. D.C., it's not fully equipped for this kind of extreme weather. And there's actually logistical challenges to it. It's not set up like a grid system like many other northeastern cities. So plowing on these diagonal roads that lead to circles, that can lead to real pileups. It's a challenge to get snow out of the way very quickly. D.C. also has a high homeless rate per capita, less total numbers than other cities. But that's kind of a concern for officials here as well, is making sure that they are housed in these kind of conditions. People are really concerned about this chill. It's blustery out here at this point. It's a very fine kind of snow that's accumulated a good bit over the past 3 hours since it started. But this snow emergency pushes through till 4 a.m. on Monday.
Alex, it strikes me you've got a whole lot of people in the Trump administration who are from the great state of Florida, the House speakers from Louisiana, the House majority leaders from Louisiana. And so you have a lot of folks who come in from all over the country to work for the administration or the members of Congress who are not familiar with severe winter weather. What about that concern?
Yeah, I think that's such a good point because it's not just at the highest levels of government. You have staffers who come in to support their local members of Congress, Senate, and this is a transplant-heavy town who relies significantly on mass transit. But I think that really lends itself to how seriously it feels like the city is taking this effect. If you're unfamiliar with this kind of cold and snow, you're less likely to get behind the wheel of a car. So I think this is why we saw a lot of the shelves clear out earlier in the week. People who know their limits with this stuff and want to play it safe.
Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff there in the shadow of the United States Capitol. Thanks for me. This is a strong system. More than 40 states are feeling the impact from the snow, ice, and dangerous cold. Where are you seeing problems at this time?
Unfortunately, a lot of states. I mean, the stretch is big, as we mentioned. Lone Star State, we're starting to see more people report freezing rain and sleet. In fact, that line is now getting into southeast Texas. Houston itself is still reporting rain, but our suburbs are reporting freezing rain and lightning at that. So when you start to see lightning on the southern portion of this storm, it really represents the intensity of what's happening. There's a little more instability. And if you're watching our coverage earlier today on Fox Weather with Ian Oliver and Keanu Lewis, they were talking about the imminent approach of this low-level jet, which for our weather enthusiasts that join us on Fox Weather every day, maybe a few of you watching us on Fox Business and the Fox News channel will sort of jump into this as well. It's impressive to see these dynamics at play. I mean, we talk about a low-level jet. That's very strong winds that are above the ground. And when it's crazy upstairs, it gets crazy downstairs. It's the most basic way of taking a look at a jet. So that lightning is representing that process that we were anticipating is now starting to happen. It does mean that you're going to have more intense freezing rain. You're going to have more intense snow that is falling every hour and also more intense rain. We have spots in Mississippi that have 1 to 2 inches of rain happening right now. You can see that. They're only 100 miles away from where the ice is starting to accumulate. Northern parts of Mississippi, Starkville, they have 1/4 of an inch of ice, and Loomis has 1/2 inch of ice. So Mike already was starting to see the crippling ice formation across the south. And a lot of our power numbers are doubling every hour in response to the fact that the ice is starting to build up as well.
Sound alert. Type commands for different commands.
Live look at Louisville. Mike, this is where we have all snow.
Well, and that's a good thing because when you consider ice, at least with snow, you can handle yourself if you have to get out and get somewhere.
And it's easier to get off the road. I mean, any day, I would take 12 inches of snow over 5 inches of snow with a little bit of ice in the snow. You can see how fluffy those snowflakes are. Alex was talking about that in D.C., how it's so cold. It does change the type of snow that you pick out. So here's a wide look at the southeast. It does represent everything. The snow, the ice, and yes, the thunderstorms. We have a lot of thunderstorms right now in central portions of Mississippi. One thing I want to point out is specifically for Huntsville, checked in with their National Weather Service office, and they also have confirmed that the surge of warm air from the Gulf is really progressing far to the north. still picked up, you know, 1/100 of an inch of ice, and now they're all raining. This is a saving grace for northern Alabama. That means that through the overnight, they're going to do really well. So a lot of residents are going to wake up in northern Alabama, look out the window and say, wow, you know, we could have been far worse. Unfortunately, what we were anticipating for northwest Mississippi and, you know, middle Tennessee, it's pretty much working out exactly how we thought it would. I mean, we definitely are picking up some good ice cream.
49 degrees in Montgomery must feel like almost spring compared to the rest of the country.
Yes, and, you know, also kind of similar to Huntsville. I mean, the state of Alabama is looking really good at this hour in comparison to its neighbors.
The newest information from Fox Weather at this hour, we have more than 2,000 miles, of accumulating snow. Reports coming in from Arizona to Maryland, and unfortunately we now have more than 200,000 power outages across the United States. Now freezing rain has reached the Midlands of South Carolina. Two separate reports of freezing rain blazing surfaces in Columbia, South Carolina. And snow crews have been deployed in the nation's capital, roads. Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser is asking folks to only travel if absolutely necessary. Bingo's plow trucks working right on the clock in space. We are getting tons of images from the home. This one is from Michael in Maryland. It looks like snow coming down this hour.
We got